This podcast is brought to you by the Arate Media Pantheon. Please head to aratemedia.org to see lots of other podcasts from all of our great friends. And if you would like to start your own podcast, you could head there and they will provide you with the tools and resources to do so. That is aratemedia.org. A-R-E-T-E media.org. On with the show, Jordan?
Let's do this.
Flawless intro. Nailed it. Didn't fuck up once. Awesome. Great. Welcome to the Spurr of the Moment podcast, everybody. I'm your host.
We're here to do this. Yeah.
I'm your host, Justin Spurr. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, the ever derailing, the incomparable Jordan, everybody.
I'm pretty incomparable.
He didn't let me get through the intro last week, so that's why I'm giving him shit this week.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's that he doesn't know. Today on the show, we're going to do news, and it's kind of a light news week. So we're going to talk about some live action Watch Dogs. No, not yet. There's a Horizon Zero Dawn got canceled. We're going to talk more about the Suicide Squad anime. Now You See Me 3 is apparently coming out. The news. And then later, we're late, but we're going to do an Independence Day special. And we're going to talk about some stuff that is theoretically patriotic, if you're American, I suppose. We're going to watch some movies that maybe are about America, about being American. That's later. Hang out for that. That's going to be fun. Who knows? Maybe some of our American friends will drop by in the chat. Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe they won't.
I mean, they know.
They
know whether or not they're going to do it. We don't know, but they know.
They know. And before we jump into the news, I do have to start off with correction. I was fact checked in our comments in one of our shorts about Theodore Tugboat. I mistakenly said that it took place in Newfoundland. I knew that was wrong. It actually takes place in Nova Scotia. It's specifically Halifax.
How dare you?
And the big.
How dare you mislead me and the internet, but especially me?
It's funny because I knew it was wrong when I said it. But yeah, Theodore Tugboat from Nova Scotia. Also, we said Canadian house hippo is very much the North American house hippo. The house hippo doesn't belong to just Canada. It's North American. It belongs to all of us. It belongs to Mexico and America as well.
But weren't, I mean, okay, but weren't, that was a Canadian commercial.
It was a Canadian commercial, yeah. It was the
So no, I'm claiming it. It's the Canadian house hippo.
But the house hippo itself is North American.
I have laid. I mean, okay,
they are
until I've now captured it.
They are cross North America.
Except I have now captured it and claimed it, and it's Canadian. It's
I mean,
the
if
Canadian
you have
house
it,
hippo.
it is a Canadian house hippo.
Anyone who wants to disagree with me can fight me. It's mine now. I've claimed it. It's Canadian house hippo.
If you were to get one, then it would be a Canadian house hippo. But the species is a North American, at least according to the ad, Jordan, it's a North American house hippo. So that was an important correction. Let's begin the news, Jordan. Now you can do the news theme. Valena, Rachel, we're still waiting on our transitional and theme song and music. I know you guys are busy making an album and probably planning to tour.
You want her to do it, Justin? You have to actually message her and ask her.
I'm gonna have to actually ask for it.
Justin. She's busy.
She's busy.
She doesn't. No, it's not that. She's busy. She doesn't watch our podcast. She doesn't know that you want that.
That is also fair. That is completely fair. I would not expect her to watch our podcast. But if she does, that'd be cool. Anyone who listens is welcome. Anyway, moving on. First bit of news. Apparently, Jordan, there was going to be a Horizon Zero Dawn Netflix show. Get excited about that for a second. Feel that. Feel excitement for that. Feeling excited for that?
So, Wait.
Hold on.
No, I have thoughts.
Okay.
I have thoughts and opinions, Justin.
But I'm immediately going to crush it because they're not making the show.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, why would they bother making the show? It's already a show.
It's already 2/3 of the way to a show.
I think I've said that already, but yeah, games like that are just basically playable movies. Why bother?
Right. Speaking of that, they're making a Watch Dogs movie.
Which clearly some executive also thought, because that's obviously why it's no longer being made.
Without reading the article because I can't be bothered. I would say that it's probably more just no. They never think of that because if they thought of that, shows like Fallout and like um the other one that they made that was the Last of
The
Us,
Witcher.
the
The
Last of
Witcher.
Us, the Witcher and the Last of Us, um, wouldn't be so massively successful. Like, yeah, you could take story and narrative driven games and turn them into movies and shows, and it works. So no, I don't think that's
I
it. And
suppose.
they could be good, and they could be good. So I would say that more likely it was a case of
But I would argue those other games that you mentioned are actually more games than movies, so the transition to movies makes sense. Whereas the Until Dawn, any of those other ones that are like that, which I know the
oh
name of, but
oh,
aren't
I mean,
those are more just movies than they are
yeah,
games.
the with Until Dawn. No, yeah, yeah. To me, that's like making a Beyond Two Souls movie or a Heavy
Yeah,
Rain movie. Yeah,
yeah.
those are two. Those are basic, but like um the thing we're talking about. Oh my god, the name is
Fallout,
not
however,
Fallout.
is an
Um,
actual game,
Horizon Zero
like a
Dawn.
game.
I could see them. I mean, I wouldn't mind a less uncanny valley version of that story. If I'm being honest, I just probably what
I
stopped that
guess.
was it was budget prohibitive. Probably if I had to guess, because like that would be expensive. That'd be an expensive show.
Or they wanted to do it with the actual actors from the game, and none of them wanted to come back.
Maybe, but it's just one of those like a lot of those animals like you're watching that to show up to see the mechanical animals, and yeah, those would be expensive. Like that to me, that kind of works more as a movie than it does a show. Like that, you could absolutely like condense that story into a movie, and it would
Yeah,
work fine. I don't think
you
it
could.
needed to be a show. Maybe they thought the same thing. I think also I don't think the second one did as well as they were expecting, and I think that they expected this franchise to be more
Until
of a thing.
Dawn. There was a
No,
second Until Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, I no. Okay, yeah, that I could see in a show. Far more. Sorry, I thought you said Until Dawn,
No,
like
Horizon Zero
the
Dawn.
like the one where they're in a haunted
No,
cabin and stuff, like
no,
that
no,
one.
they're making a movie of that, but no, there was going to be a Netflix Horizon Zero Dawn show, and they canceled it. They're no longer making it.
Oh, okay, interesting. No, I that makes more sense. Okay, yeah, yeah. Sorry, all the pieces of this
Yeah.
story are now clicking into
So yeah, I
place.
think that's probably more budget prohibitive than
Yeah,
anything.
no,
Yeah,
in that instance, yes, because the animatronic or the robot animals and stuff would be very expensive
yeah,
animation wise.
yeah. I could see like them maybe like yeah, no, maybe not a show, but yeah, a movie. Like but I just think it's probably because they thought that Sony thought that franchise would be bigger than it was, or that the first one did really well and the second one. I don't think the second one did super well.
I can't speak to that. I just know that I enjoyed it. It was hard. I
Fair.
like the first one more, but
Yeah. I mean, the first one was just such a unique
although
experience.
I do like in the second one that they give you the flying mount.
Oh, interesting. I still haven't played the second one. I really want to replay the first one. I just haven't, you know, had the time. Um,
That's fair.
I also just haven't been in a video gaming mood lately. And
I
yeah, and so
understand.
they apparently set photos have appeared for the Watch Dogs movie, which is officially gone into production apparently. And yeah, that's one where I'm like, all right, I guess.
I really have no strong feelings one way or the other about
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, that was gonna be my question with Horizon Zero Dawn. So, that was gonna be my thought experiment of the episode. Because there's not much news, and a lot of these news stories are just ideas. So, okay, so Jordan, what video game? You can take any video game franchise you want, but here are the restrictions. It has to be a show. It has to be. It can be 6 to 8 episodes, and it's a streaming show. So every episode can be an hour, like 30 minutes to an hour. What video game are you adapting? How many episodes would you give it? And just for fun, roughly how long of an episode would you do per episode? How long would each episode be, roughly?
Mm. Well, my first instinct, because I've been playing it, is to say Kingdom Hearts.
Interesting.
Um, I think you could do. I mean, if you really wanted to pad it, you would make as many episodes as there are worlds in that game, and have each episode be one, or each episode be one of the levels.
You get up to eight episodes because most streaming shows go 8 now. So you get up
You
to
said
8.
you
I
you
said
said
between
10.
sorry 6 to 8, 6 to 8.
Well then,
Between 6 to 8. You can
I would
you don't
I
have
would
to say 8. You can go
I
6 or
would.
7 if you want.
How many worlds are in Kingdom Hearts 1 again? I just beat it and I should know this.
Let's count them out. We got Tarzan. We got Aladdin. We got Hercules.
I
We
I think there's
got
12.
okay.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna look it up.
So you're gonna have to mash a couple worlds into one episode. I think. I
That's
don't.
where I was like, maybe if you make them 40-minute episodes.
Yeah, yeah. Or you do an hour, but even then, an hour is hard. Like if it's Kingdom Hearts, then to me that's got to be animated, and there's no way you're getting over 30 minutes with animated. There's just no way. But that's a good one. That could work.
Depends on the style you do. If you're going more of a Japanese, like Studio Ghibli, like anime kind of style, yeah, you
Maybe.
could get a few more. You might be able to get a few more per season out of that.
Yeah, maybe. But again, it's a streaming show, so it's not going at most 10. I could see maybe 10 at most. But
Huh. I
at
wonder.
probably 20 minutes a piece.
So
That's
this
pretty good
this
one.
is this is probably just a thing that they later played up on and made it into a thing, but there was 13 worlds.
Huh. That has to be a coincidence. That must be why he chose that. Why they went with
Yeah,
13.
13.
Yeah, that has to be why. And I heard somewhere.
Because I forgot, of course, I forgot Destiny Islands was
Yeah.
a world.
I did see a news story that popped up that they are working on another show for Kingdom Hearts.
I had
Um,
heard that, yeah.
but I only saw it in one spot and I haven't seen it pop up again, and it didn't pop up in any of my official news channels. Otherwise, it would be on this show. Obviously,
Um,
I only saw it on one like fan site, so I don't know if it's true or not. But I've heard that they're working on something.
so that's what
So,
my
okay,
choice
hold
would be.
on.
I would do Kingdom Hearts.
Um, Bioshock Infinite. 6 you
Okay, how
do
many episodes?
you 8 episodes. They're an hour long. No, 6. 6. They're an hour long, so 6 hours. And it's
Interesting.
it's an
Interesting.
Amazon Plus show. It's an Amazon Prime. Oh, that was going to be my other bit. Although you picked Kingdom Hearts, so obviously Disney Plus. But where would you put
Yeah.
it?
Mine would have to be Disney Plus.
Mine's Amazon. Mine will go to Amazon. And I think like it'd be like this like Fallout, kind of like in the style of Fallout, maybe. But I think that
For
game's
me,
story would be it's so prime, pardon the expression, for
I
something live action. I think.
yeah, I could see it doing yours being live action.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Let's make you
so
go again.
what I would do is with mine, if they did it in an anime style, it would be on Disney Plus, but they would do a deal with Crunchyroll, and it would also be on Crunchyroll.
Okay, I'm gonna make you go again for fun, and I'm gonna say pick something and it has to be live action.
Okay, I need to think about this one because
So pick
there's
something
a
that would
lot of
suit live action.
choices. There's a lot of choices that you could do.
And you can say anything, and if
Um,
they're already making it, whatever. Because like God of War, for example, I think they're already making a God of War one.
I think I would do Infamous, the first
Oh
Infamous.
yes! Oh my gosh, yes! Totally, that could totally work as a series for sure. For sure, that could
Yeah,
work as a
and
series.
I would keep the comic book style, so like the framing device, like the scene changers and stuff like that,
Yeah.
would be like them flipping through a comic book.
Sorry, keep
And
talking. Keep talking for the audio. I just keep getting Facebook notifications, and I'm afraid it's gonna pick that up. So I'm gonna exit out of it. Keep talking.
I would do I mean 8 episodes. Probably, I mean, an hour feels long, but 40 minutes doesn't feel quite long enough. So I would lean towards the hour long per episode.
I would maybe consider. Sorry. The YouTube just got a glimpse at my Facebook. Sorry. I think 6 episodes at an hour length would be perfect for that.
It's, yeah,
Um,
it's not a very long game,
no,
especially if you're just doing story.
but you can add that. It's where you can add in stuff between him and Zeke, like go more into their backstory, like why they're friends. Yeah,
You
that
could
would
do
that
more
honestly would be perfect for like a Netflix
lean
show.
more into Trish as well. Show more of Kessler
Yeah,
and actually kind of maybe show his future a little bit in the
yeah.
show.
So sorry,
You know, kind of.
where did you say you would put it?
I didn't.
Where would you put it then?
But I'm thinking Prime.
Prime?
Prime? Amazon Prime?
Amazon. Yeah, these just feel like Amazon Prime shows. They really do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I don't
they're
it
doing it
could
right
work
over
on
there.
it could work on Disney and you know, if you kind of softened it a little bit, but if you're going for the more true story, I think Prime is kind of knocking it out.
Also,
Netflix could maybe do it, but then I don't think anybody would watch
I don't
it.
think I just don't think it's prestige enough for HBO. Like
Yeah,
it's not gonna be a Last of
no,
Us, and it's perfect because
no.
it's PG. That's a PG enough game that you don't have to make it bloody, so it doesn't have to be R rated. Like it's
Yeah,
a nice fun
it
over
can
the
be
top.
it can be as serious as you want it to be,
Yeah,
really. Like you're using lightning so you can make that very cartoony, or you can show their burns.
exactly.
Like and
My dream version of that was always, I don't know so much now, but like 5, 10 years ago, it was you make that movie and it's Jason Statham as Cole. Like for me, it was always Jason Statham as Cole.
and a third choice that I'm gonna give you, if those two for some reason didn't get picked up, my third choice would be Sly Cooper.
Yeah, I mean that would be a fun. It's just like an 8 episode Netflix animated series. That'd be fun. But I mean,
And
I
I
still
wouldn't
want them to make
even
the movie.
I mean, yeah, I would love them to do that. Though I will say if I did Sly Cooper, if I had my way doing Sly Cooper, I would make it I think take place between the first and second game and have it be its own story.
Oh, interesting. I would just straight up do adaptations of the games. They're so built to be adapted. It's remarkable they haven't yet.
Yeah, but I also want more stories with them. And if you did it where it's in between the first and second, they're still in their crime heyday,
Yeah,
and you can kind of show the evolution of Ben. Like you have some character growth that can happen there of showing like kind of how they got to where they are in the second one.
I could see that for a show. Yeah, you're right. But I want see, my dream for Sly Cooper's movies. Like I want movies. I want movies, and I want like to see like the big budget. Like yeah, that's Sly Cooper on the big screen. But yeah, that's a
Yeah.
franchise. Why wasn't it a Saturday morning cartoon?
Oh
Like
yeah,
why
I don't. It
was
was
it? It was
kind
so
of
built to be merchandised.
yeah,
Like that's the
yeah,
thing with Sony is they never committed to a mascot, right? Like they like none of all of their mascots are like criminally under merchandised. Like
yeah.
Spyro, all those guys. It's like, man, they should have been cartoons.
Well,
They should have been on T-shirts. They should have been like,
to be fair, Spyro was sold up the behind with his whole toys to life thing.
yeah, true. But I would argue that that's not really. I was disappointed when they didn't make that the movie with Elijah Wood.
Oh, based on that new version of him
Yeah,
that's
that where
like
he
the more.
where he was played by Elijah Wood. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Those
remember
games were
that one
fun, and the
vaguely.
Gary Oldman was his mentor or whatever. Yeah, those games were fun.
Yeah,
They
I
added
remember
combat.
enjoying those.
Yeah, they added combat to Spyro, and it was like, oh, this is fun. And yeah, Elijah Wood was really fun as that character. And yeah, they were gonna make a series of movies that adapted those games. I was like, oh, I really wanted to see it. Yeah, again, fun,
I could see it.
fun.
I could see that.
Yeah, like a sweeping epic fantasy is kind of perfect for yeah. Sony just never knew how to. Or Tomba. Tomba was I don't know if they did make that into
If
a
I
cartoon, but that could
if
have
I
been a
did a
cartoon.
if I did a Spyro movie, I think that one would go to Netflix.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
That feels like a net, especially because Netflix has been trying to lean into the whole gaming side of things.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, that was fun. I enjoyed that. That was a fun. Jordan, Zack Snyder's Justice League apparently might be going to theaters,
Why?
and apparently he's teased it. I don't know
Well,
why, for what reason.
you're that's the really old, really bad one, right? Like why?
No,
Why don't we leave that where?
that's the newer one, the one that was Snyder
Oh,
cut.
sorry. No, I hear Superman, and I think the bad one.
Yeah, no. It's the Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's apparently going to go to theaters.
Wait,
For
that's
I
the
don't
one that's
know.
on. That's the one that's on HBO.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the bad one.
the one that you watched for the podcast. Actually,
Yeah,
technically, you
that's the
watch
bad one.
not the the one that you think is the bad one, but that Snyder fans think is the good one. Not the Joss Whedon
Um,
version. Not the version you think is
no,
the better one.
no, yeah, both of them are bad. They're all bad. All
Well, yeah,
those
the
versions
the
are
four
bad.
the 4 hour one.
Yeah, no, that's bad. That's a bad one.
So like, why? I don't even want that, and I kind of like
Uh,
that movie.
I mean, for me, it's not even just that. It's who's going to sit in the theater for 4 hours to watch that.
Zack Snyder fans, well,
Yeah, no, they have a problem. They
my
have a
question
real.
is if it's on, well, is it
They
if
they
they
have
do
a
show it in
real
theaters?
problem.
They absolutely have a real problem. But my question is if they show it in theaters,
Are
like,
you
are they
moving
gonna?
chairs over there?
Our my upstairs neighbor is, yes. They're just moving
Wow,
chairs around.
that mic is just picking it up really loudly and really obnoxiously.
Yeah, yeah. You imagine how I feel. And
You should grab the broom and aggressively hit the roof.
yeah, no, they're yeah.
That will teach
It's
them.
it's
That will make
amazing
them
because
learn.
for the first time, um, like you can actually hear it on microphone live while we're doing the podcast. And like anytime I'm like my upstairs neighbor is a lunatic, I sound crazy because it's just hard to describe how they move around like shit randomly and without any sort of sense of for no reason. Like this vacuum cleaner goes off randomly, and it,
Like at
it,
9 a.m.
yeah,
sometime, or 9 p.m.
it's
rather.
not a Roomba. I don't think it's a Roomba based. It literally sounds like someone's got a shop vac up there and is vacuuming their apartment, or like I can hear their bed springs in what kind of sounds like coitus, but I don't. It's at random periods. And I'm trying to get it with my like
Okay,
phone
okay,
to record the
okay,
sound so I don't
okay.
sound crazy. But like,
Describing this, you sound a little crazy, Justin. Perhaps we should move on.
it's just funny. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, Zach, one of my classic rants. Um, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah, I don't know. My question was, is it going to be on IMAX? And will it not look badly formatted when it's finally on the big screen? Like, the number one thing about that movie is the formatting looks horrendous, like the aspect ratio. You've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the
Oh,
aspect
I
ratio.
know what
Yeah,
you're talking about.
it looks like shit. And
And
so,
and so my thing is, you couldn't pay me to go sit in that theater for 4 hours and rewatch this. I'm
no,
not going. I refuse to call it a movie. It's not a movie. It's too long to be a movie.
it's
It's
like a
not a
mini
movie.
series. At one point, it was
It's
gonna
not
be. It was gonna be a mini series. Like they were gonna
the
split it up into episodes, and that's why the movie is like chapters that are titled because it was gonna be episodes of like a show.
see. You call it a show. I call it torture. But either way, I think we can agree it's not a movie.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, so my question is, I refuse to read the article about it. Like, are they going to edit it down to be a manageable theatrical release, or is it going to go to theaters as is? And like, yeah, man, that's an odyssey. Like that, when I watched that movie, it felt like I spent an afternoon watching it. But no, my question was more
They
like,
can't edit it down because at that point it's not the Snyder cut.
yeah,
If they're advertising it as I just mean legally. If they're advertising it as one thing, then it has to be that thing that they're
true.
putting out.
But then my other question is, yeah, when that movie was on Max and it looked like shit, the Snyder apologists were like, oh, it's just because it's on a small screen. If this got to be on a big screen like it was supposed to, it would look better. So like, I just want to know if when it goes to the big screen, will it look better on the big screen? Like, not enough to like pay for this or go watch it. I guarantee you, it's like one night and it's like a meet and greet thing. You go and you meet Zack Snyder, and tickets are like $100. Like at that point, if I
I
were
mean, the real important question is if it's on the big screen and it still looks like shit, will the Snyder Bros finally admit that it's
no,
just bad?
no, they won't. They absolutely will not. But yeah, no. If it's like a thing of like, okay, maybe let's reframe this. If it were like I mean that's a lot, but let's say it's like $100 a ticket. Um, and you get to Zack Snyder is there, and there's a Q&A afterwards, like Kevin Smith, evening with Kevin Smith style. Would would you just out of interest go to it then? Like it's a big event.
No.
No, interesting. I would entertain it. I just because I find him to be a fascinating person, and I like I
Sorry. Let me rephrase that. if you paid for the tickets, then I would maybe consider going.
Fair.
But I'm not dropping $100 on a thing that I have no passion for, don't respect the person who made it, and don't like the
Oh,
final
see, oh man, I
product.
would never go that far. I absolutely respect the man who made it. Making movies is
I
hard.
don't. I don't. I
And
think he
also,
ruined the characters that he used.
like his
So
daughter.
I should say for this specific project, not
Um,
on a greater,
Fair.
not on a
That's
greater
fair. That's
scheme.
fair. Yeah. From all appearances, he's apparently a very nice guy. So I can't.
Yeah, no, like that's why I'm like I more meant localized to this project in
Yeah.
particular
Fair. Like
specifically.
there's
I
a
don't re- I don't respect what he did with it, and
there's
I
a
don't respect the fact that Snyder fans can't let go of the fact that
no.
he missed his opportunity
I don't.
and hounded the network and the people, like the producer,
Yeah.
whatever, until he finally did it. Like,
Yeah,
no,
to
I
be
don't
fair,
respect
Zack
any of
Snyder's
it.
not cool with those guys. To be fair, but like, yeah, I don't respect his perspective on Batman. I definitely disagree with how he sees Batman. Um, but like, yeah, there's a really my favorite Zack Snyder clip. This is really funny clip of the stand up comedian um doing crowd work. And he goes to the crowd. He's like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, I make movies." And he goes, "Oh, you make movies? Oh, what movies do you make?" And he's like, "Oh,
Oh yeah,
have
I
you
think
ever
I've seen
seen?"
this. Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember what movie he says. But have you ever seen this movie? He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I made that." What's your name, Zach? Oh my God, you're Zack Snyder. And I was like, "Yeah." And
Yeah.
he took that Drummond like a champ. And I was like, yeah, and yeah. Again, I've seen interviews. He seems like he's a decent enough guy. He just has bad ideas. Like, that's really if you've seen. Oh man, I'm probably gonna end up watching it for.
That's where I can't. I'm
We'll
not gonna
get to
say
next week later, but I might end up
I
watching
don't
it for
like
next week.
saying like he has bad ideas. I just don't like his ideas.
Uh, he
I
has
don't like them.
he has bad ideas. Um, Jordan, here's my next question to you before we move to the next story. You've seen the last season of speaking of too long, Jordan. You've seen the last season of Stranger Things, right?
The one where they end up on the hill looking over the town.
Yeah,
Yes, I think so.
and the one that
It's
had like
been it's been like several years, but I
yeah, because it
believe
came out in
so.
2022. Yeah, it remember how the last episode was like 2.5 hours long?
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah.
Apparently, the girl who plays Robin has teased that season 5, um, every episode is feature length, which means that every episode is probably 2.5 hours long. Which means, like, my God, it is going to be a slog to watch.
So I take issue with the fact that she says that like it's a good thing.
Right?
That's
That's
not a
my
that's
thing.
not a that's not a
No,
good thing. That's not a
my
show.
I've never met a person who thinks that Stranger Things is paced well. Like, even the people who like that show are like, yeah, no, it probably could be shorter. Like, it's the one thing I don't remember a thing. I never remember a thing that happened in the previous season of Stranger Things until I'm watching it because I Google it when I watch it because I don't remember what happens season to season in this show. Mostly because it takes multiple years for them to come out, but like I very much remember saying that it is one of the most horrendously paced shows I've ever seen. And like I remember all the reviews said the same thing. Like I think pretty much critically they took a Drummond on the finale because I think like everyone agreed it was too long. Everyone agreed it was too long. So it's just kind of wild to me that they
That they're
heard
doubling down.
that allegedly, according to her, that they heard this criticism and went, make it longer, more Stranger Things. And it's just, man, it's such a baffling franchise because they're like, yeah, we're doing spin off. All the actors and actresses on that show want to be done. They all want to be done. None of them want to make it anymore. And Netflix is like spin offs. And it's like, yeah, you guys kind of missed the window on this.
Just a bit.
Like,
Just a
right,
bit.
right. It feels like they missed the window on this, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree.
Um,
Yeah.
Jordan. Apparently, they're doing an Assassin's Creed remake of the first game, which I didn't know.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Which that
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because you can't play the first one on any of the modern consoles.
really,
No, they don't have it. You have to
really,
start with the second one.
oh, there is like not even on PlayStation Now or anything like that. Like they don't have a downloadable version of the first game. I wonder why
Not
that
that I
is.
know of.
I guess they've just never
Uh,
remade it. I guess, yeah. or they've never done a
I
re-release
don't
on
know.
it. That surprises. Like in all
No,
of the
yeah.
collections, they've never done a re-release. Wow, that surprises me.
Again, unless someone wants to comment down below and tell me, and maybe I'm wrong, but no, as far as I
Oh,
know, whenever I've gone and done my playthroughs, it's always had to start on the second one
very
because you
interesting.
can't get the first one.
I did not know that. That is so interesting.
So
Um,
yeah, to hear that they're, and that's probably why this is such a big deal, is because you
yeah.
can't play it. I think the furthest back you can go to play it is PlayStation 3.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I've never finished that game because it hits a point where it just stops telling you what to do, like completely, and like I could never figure out what I was supposed to do or where I was supposed to go. Because
Yeah,
it tells you exactly
same,
what to do up until like one point, and then I've never gotten past that point. So like, if they could fix that
same.
in this remake, I would absolutely love to beat it. To be fair,
I would
I don't think
hope
I've
that
beat
they
any
would.
of them.
I have.
I'd like to go back to it, but watching you play it kind of like, oh, looks like such a slog at times.
It is. It is the originator of that style, and you feel it.
Yeah, they look very old.
You feel it.
So Jordan,
I was considering for our topic this week, I considered doing the third one because it's relevant, but I just couldn't bring myself to, Justin.
that is completely fair. Jordan, I sent you the trailer for that Suicide Squad Isekai show, and
Yes, you did.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Isekai is like, yeah, get transported to a magical world. So I think the premise, none of the marketing is showing what the show is actually about. But I think it's like they get transported to like a magical world kind of story. I think initially when they were talking about this, it wasn't the full Suicide Squad. It was just a Harley Quinn and Joker show. And then as it's gone on, it's become that. But it's interesting, the lineup. It looks to be based around the James Gunn version of the Suicide Squad, because it's got Peacemaker in there.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw him.
but
Yeah.
then it's also mushed in the Harley Quinn, the HBO show, because Clayface is there, and someone else from that show. I can't remember who. But yeah, it looks fun. Like I'm always down for taking a thing, a North American thing, and making it into anime. One of my favorite is the Wolverine one, where it's where they just made him like a pretty boy. I don't even know how to describe his character, but he's like a Vegeta of a character. Is the best way I can
Yeah,
describe it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anti-hero.
yeah, and I'm like, he's kind of fun and it's really fluid. So yeah, I love taking things that aren't anime and making them anime. So I guess that leads me to my.
I I don't know how to feel about it because on the one hand, yeah, I like it when you take a thing that I'm
It's so
familiar with and
fluid
make it
looking.
weird,
Yeah.
and it looks pretty, but it's weird. It makes me feel weird. It's weird. I don't know. Yeah,
Right.
it's I need to see some actual like scenes, some
Yeah.
real scenes, like
Yeah.
some not just a teaser trailer scenes.
Also, like, I'm gonna be watching this dubbed, so like I'm not even gonna pretend I'm not. So I'm not watching this in Japanese.
Yeah,
Nah,
same.
I'm good. So I guess that leads me to my question of the piece then. So another thought experiment. Jordan, take a thing and make it anime.
Spider-Man.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Spider-Man. Okay. I'm gonna go a little. I guess we'll do superheroes. We'll keep in the realm of superheroes.
Which I mean, they've done Spider-Man in Japan before, so that's not exactly. So if I had to pick a second one, I would do Hulk.
Okay. I was gonna say Iron Man.
They've done that,
Have they?
and
Oh,
I think it was the same. I think it was the same guys who did that Wolverine one you're talking about.
really? Because I know that they did an X-Men one, which
I'm
is
pretty sure
not
there is
they're not
anyway.
connected.
Now I'm questioning myself, but I
Interesting.
just I seem to remember there being one.
Or
But
or
either way,
or
that one I could definitely see,
or
and
seeing
I mean,
Japan's take on Captain America would be kind of fun.
he wouldn't be Captain America then, but
I know,
okay.
but their own version of doing Captain America, that'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of interesting.
Um,
Not like I mean,
no,
he's still Captain America.
Iron Man, I could see them doing a version where he's not Tony Stark, but he's a Japanese Iron Man.
Oh yeah, that would be kind of fun. But I mean, yeah, they would do it. I mean, for me, if you're gonna do anime Tony Stark, I kind of want to see like, yeah, like transformations. I want to see them do like he's basically Kamen Rider. Like that would be kind of fun.
Yeah,
That'd be so
yeah,
fun.
I
There's a
can see
really
that.
fun. There's a really fun Avengers anime which I've watched a few. I think I've watched a few episodes of, maybe, where it's called Disc Wars, and it's like it's basically Pokemon, but for
Yeah, yeah,
Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh.
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, but for Avengers and
From
Spider-Man's
for
in it.
Marvel.
Yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
they've got little discs and they summon them like Pokemon. And there's characters who have the bad guys. It's quite fun, and it's really cool.
Um, But yeah, I think Spider-Man could be interesting.
Because like speaking of, but okay, let's go out of superheroes because the poster for that Terminator anime, which is called Terminator Zero, which I found a little bit of footage of for one of our videos, and the trailer's coming out. And I think we talked about there was another anime we talked about, another thing. Oh, Lord of the Rings. Making a Lord of the Rings anime. So
I
let's
remember
like
that.
not superheroes. What is a thing, anything, and make an anime? I'll go first. RoboCop. Take
Yeah, I could see
RoboCop and make
that.
him anime.
I would want it to be
Dude,
an
make it
adult
almost like
anime.
Akira. That'd be kind of fun.
Like I'd want it to be an adult anime so it could
Oh
be
yeah,
the
yeah,
violent
yeah,
version.
yeah. Absolutely. You make him super violent, super gory, super bloody.
Hmm. Does it have to be? Can it be video game?
It could be anything you want.
Like like a video game show, kind of is what I mean. Like
Yeah, yeah,
one
yeah. It
that's
could be
based off of.
yeah, it could be anything you want.
Okay, Ape Escape.
Oh, I don't want to poo-poo you, but those technically already exist.
Oh,
There's actually very specifically an anime that's an adaptation of the first game. It's quite good actually, but it's only out in Japan. Yeah, there's a few.
Discworld.
Ooh, that'd be kind of fun. I don't know how well the humor is gonna translate, but that would be fun. Like a Rincewind. I always want them
Yeah.
to do more with Rincewind. I do agree that like not even
Or
just anime, but a Rincewind animated series. I can't believe that never came out.
another one that I would do, which is based on a book series, is I would do their Twisted Tales book series where it's basically what Disney, but
Oh,
what
that
if
would be
things
fun.
went slightly different,
That would be
and you do
fun.
it in an anime style.
Because they've done some pretty interesting Disney animes. Like there's the Lilo and Stitch anime where Lilo is an adult and her and Stitch haven't been together in a while, and it's really upsetting.
That sounds upsetting.
Yeah,
I don't know how to feel about that, so I'm gonna just not address it and
yeah. That's
say, yeah. If they did a Disney what if, or another fun one would be if they. I mean, I just want them to make this into a show in general, but if they did the Kingdom Keepers.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we always make pitches for the Kingdom Keeper. That's another one where yeah, that should be a Netflix show, or I guess a Disney
Yeah,
Plus show.
Disney Plus show.
Disney
Yeah,
Plus show, like
no,
a eight
I
episode Disney Plus show.
absolutely. I would have, especially because there's like 15 books. You
Yeah,
have so many seasons of televisions in that.
yeah,
In that.
yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. Um, so apparently there was going to be a Batman Arkham Asylum series that was going to be on HBO Max. And it's been canceled. Which on the one
What, live
hand,
action or animated?
I think it was live action. I think.
Interesting.
I think it was going to be in the Batman universe.
Interesting.
Um, and so like on the one hand, good, no more Batmanless Batman shows, but like I'd almost prefer that to the stupid Penguin show that we're getting. I'm guessing they canceled it after the like what felt like a lukewarm reception to the Penguin show. I don't know. I didn't. I
My
who
vote would be neither. Let's do neither. Let's just focus on that animated one that's going to be on Prime. Let's do that.
that looks good. Yeah, let's do that instead.
Yeah. Let's just focus on that. Let's give all the money to that.
Um, and then finally, I don't know why I have this, but apparently they've set the release date, release actual release date. Oh no, it says release date. I'm stalling. Um,
I have a news thing.
oh no,
They're
yeah,
apparently
that's
going to open.
hold
They're
on.
apparently going to open.
Now you see me 3, um, is slated for November 14th, 2014, which is odd. It looks like maybe they mean 2015, and I only included it to include the joke that Dan Harmon said that the Now You See Me sequel is an absolute wasted opportunity. It should have been called Now You Don't. So I'm saying for the
He's
third one,
technically correct.
he is. It's an objectively better name. So for Now You See Me 3, it should be Now You See Me 3 : Now You Don't. The opportunity is there. You missed it in the second one. Do it for the third one.
I
What is
don't
your
know.
news?
It's kind of missed opportunity either
No,
way.
no,
My news was
we can salvage it, John.
my news was that just that I was going to mention that I mentioned this to you during the week. They're apparently going to open a Dragon Ball theme park in Saudi Arabia,
Yeah,
and
I had
my
heard that.
my first reaction is that's a weird place to have that. You would think it would be in Japan.
Is it?
My second,
Is it signed off on by toy and like?
I have to be honest. Other
Is it
than that one
licensed?
trailer that I saw, I didn't. I mean, it has all the like the trailer has all the Dragon Ball Z stuff. So yeah, I would think so.
Interesting. Interesting.
Um, I just know that in the trailer they're like, we need your help to collect the 7 Dragon Balls, and I'm like, so is it going to be a thing where in this park the Dragon Balls are hidden each day by a staff
Probably.
member throughout the park, and then like whoever gets it, like
Um,
gets
more
like the
more
Excalibur
likely.
treatment that the Excalibur treatment that you used to get from Disneyland, where you get special treatment for the day.
More than likely, it's probably an AR game that you download with your phone, where yeah, you probably
Uh,
go throughout the park and find the Dragon Balls, and then
yeah,
yeah,
that makes more sense.
and
Yeah.
you get a wish, which is probably like a free food item or something.
I mean, that's still a cool
I mean,
concept,
it's a cool.
but
It's cool in concept, sure, but I don't know. I'm anytime I yeah,
again,
you're right.
I,
Anytime I
I
see
just
Dragon Ball Park not in Japan, I'm immediately like, there's no way this is licensed. There's no way.
that's why when I saw not Japan and it was in Saudi Arabia, my first reaction was just like, really?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
be. I would. I mean, I didn't watch the trailer. I meant to. I didn't watch it though. But if I had to guess, there's no way this is licensed. There's no way. This has to be unlicensed.
I mean, again,
But
the
like Toy
trailer
is
is Dragon
notoriously
Ball stuff.
litigious, so maybe it is licensed. Maybe Saudi Arabia just had the correct amount of money. I don't know, but that is very strange. Or America. Like you would think it would be in Japan or America.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are the two locations, but I would have said Japan.
Like
This feels like
Dragon Ball
a
is way too. It's like it's so singular. Like an Akira Toriyama land where you get to experience like Dragon Quest and Sandland and all of Doctor Slump. Like in Japan, that would do huge money. So like yeah, to put it in Saudi
right.
Arabia, a place nobody is going to it from a tourist perspective. I don't think anyway. I can't imagine.
I mean, but to be fair, that's why they might pay an arm and a leg to have the rights to have it there, is to draw
To
people
be
in.
appealing, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
But
know.
yeah, no, I thought that was
No,
interesting, and I wanted to
I didn't
mention
do
that.
any research. Now I'm curious to know if it's licensed or not. I would be I'm very doubtful it's licensed. I will be, you know what, top of
If
the next
if
show. If it is licensed, I will say something. Unless I forget, I might forget. That was the news,
that's
Jordan.
okay.
We did quite a bit of time on the news. That's right. I let the whole thing play out. I wanted to see where you would go, Jordan. We did 42 minutes on the news this week. We did a lot on the
That
news.
bad?
No, this episode is sponsored by One Weekend at Horrorland and the Goosebumps crew. Go to their Kickstarter and pledge $20 because I'm gonna play a clip for you guys. Um, all they've announced a ton of guests: Tim Jacobus, um, um, others who are escaping me at the moment. But the one that's really cool. If I'm being honest,
They got
guys,
they got they got Slappy.
they got Slappy. Not even the puppet. The puppet is gonna be there from Slappy from the movies. He's gonna be there.
Well, I mean, what did you think I meant? I said Slappy.
mean, I'm gonna show you what I mean. There's maybe one other
Right
guy.
right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you right now. Oh no, I had it primed and okay, here we go.
Any second now.
Here we go. Okay, here we go. We have
Hi, folks.
this.
My name is Cal Dodd, and I voice Slappy from Goosebumps, the TV series, and Wolverine. I will be attending an event entitled One Weekend at Horrorland, but only if we're funded by July 30th. So please get your tickets or pledge to the Kickstarter today, bub. Come on, we need your help to make this very special spooky weekend happen. Tim Jacobus, the original illustrator for Goosebumps, the series, will be there as well.
And Slappy loves Tim.
You don't want to miss this, bub. If you do, I will hunt you down.
And Slappy will make you his slave.
Come on.
Oh my god, that's so cool. Seriously, that's never not cool. That's the voice of Wolverine. That is the Wolverine from my like childhood, and very selfishly, I'd like this to get funded so I could meet Wolverine and Slappy and the voice of Slappy, and also get like a Goosebumps cover like sign and tell Tim Jacobus that his book scared the pants off of me as a child. Like, I like for this to happen for me. So if you would like this to happen for me as well, please donate to the Kickstarter. It's in the description. Go check it out. It's totally a worthwhile cause. It's so super cool.
I mean, we already pledged to it, so
well, we did. We did. And again, I cannot stress enough that it's Wolverine. Like that's the Wolverine when I was a kid, man. Like rad and dope, rad and dope. Seriously, one weekend at Horrorland. Do it today. You have literally no reason not to. We cannot say it enough, and we will continue to say so for until the end of the month. But if you do not do this now, it will not happen. So go donate to this Kickstarter. It is a worthwhile cause, I promise you. Anyway, let's talk about America, Jordan. On with the show.
America!
So this week, we did Canada last week. Well, more like on Monday. And so we were like, you know what, next week we should do Independence Day. We talked about it together. I certainly didn't think of it the last minute during the show. And so this week we're late. Okay, we recognize that it's on July 4th, but we don't get July 4th off like America does. So we're talking about
us being Canadians.
Us being Canadians, we do not get the 4th of July off. But we're going to talk about some America stuff. Movies, TV shows, maybe a little bit. And yeah, Jordan, you may go first. We're going to start with rapid fire. Then we're getting the main report. Have not seen. You know the drill. You've been here. You know what's up. If you're new, this is how it works. Jordan, what's your first rapid fire? I'm not spoon
my first rapid.
That was aggressive. I apologize.
That was very. Yeah, I mean, where did that come from?
I don't even know.
Take a sip of water, cool down while I jump into American Pie.
I think it's because I'm trying to be American, Jordan. I think that's what's happening. I'm kidding.
Whoa, man.
It's a
Make
joke.
Love, not war. Jeez.
Love, not war, man.
And eat some American pie.
Good old fashioned
because
American pie.
Because that was my first rapid fire. When I thought like what's the most American thing I can think of, I thought of kids trying to have sex on prom night.
So last week you heard Canadian Stifler, and so you were like, well, I need to follow it up with good old American Stifler.
I mean, yeah, it had to be done.
That movie is of an era. Like that's funny because Going the Distance wants to be American Pie. It is very much early 2000s, like R-rated comedy. They were willing to do anything. They were willing to try and do anything back then, and
it's still funny.
It's funny. Like, I cannot say that movie holds up super well, but it is fucking funny. I will not deny that it's funny.
Laugh.
Yeah, it absolutely makes me laugh.
But yeah, I mean,
it's just a great.
It's
just
funny.
We've all had. I think it's because everyone, whether you're friends with them or not, has known a Stifler, like has just known one.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, yeah, it embodies a lot of what I think of when I think of America.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
Which is why when I was thinking of what do I think Americans would be proud of, this movie came to mind. I'll let you, the audience, try to figure out why that thought came to mind. I will let the Americans interpret that sentence. And that's all I have to say.
So you think it's them having sex with the pie then?
I mean, who could say? Only the Americans.
Okay.
Only the Americans can really interpret.
True, it is called American Pie. Only they truly know what the message is of that movie. You're right.
Of this movie is.
Do you have anything else to say about American Pie?
Boy, it is American, and there is a pie in it, and
that somebody has sex with.
Something. Whoa! Spoilers for this really old movie.
All right. Okay. My first rapid.
So what's your first? What's your first rapid fire?
It's gonna be that kind of show, is it? It's Top Gun, Jordan. My first rapid fire is Top Gun.
Wow, you are a basic bitch.
You know
Please
what?
continue.
It was the top movie that came up when I typed in patriotic movie into Google. I'm gonna need you to get all of the way off my back.
Really? The first one that popped up for
It was
me
pretty much the first one.
Was one of my picks.
It was definitely in like the top 5 of like patriot. So okay, here's my thing about Top Gun, Jordan. And I know the world's not prepared for another one of my my many hot takes. I don't think this movie's very good. It's really boring. Like it's really boring. Like I don't think any of the jet fighter stuff. I understand that it might be realistic, maybe, but it's really boring.
That's your Canadian showing because Americans eat the whole plane shooting things, explosions.
It's just okay. Yes, there's times
they eat that shit up.
There's times where I agree with that. No, the Canadians eat that shit up too. I think this is just a me thing. I just don't think it's all that interestingly it does not interestingly presented. None of the action sequences are very dynamic because it's either close-ups of a guy's face, but it's not their whole face. It's just their eyes because they're wearing one of those fighter jet masks. And like the dialogue is just them saying like slang and like acronyms that involve jet fighter planes. So like yeah, I'm sure if you're really into jet fighter planes, you know what a jib is and you care. But like the stakes of this, I mean, yeah, it does get kind of emotional in like the second and third act when Goose dies. Spoiler alert for this very old movie, where Goose dies and Tom Cruise becomes despondent. Like, yeah, I guess that's kind of sad. I just wasn't really resonating with the characters because so much of the dialogue is just that what feels like a lot of inside baseball about jet planes. And I'm just like, I just didn't care about any of it. And I was gonna off the back of it, I was like, oh, I'll finally watch the second one. And I was so bored, I just couldn't. I was like, I'm good. So that's why it's a rapid fire. Anyway, that's Top Gun. Oh, I will say the one good thing about this movie is Danger Zone still kicks fucking ass. That song kicks ass. I don't know anyone who Jordan. Do you disagree that Danger Zone kicks ass?
No, I love Danger Zone. Also, I'm going to admit fully that you cut out for 70% of what you just said on that rapid fire, but I think I got the gist that it was boring.
Yeah, it was very boring.
Yeah.
And Danger Zone kicks ass, Jordan. Would you say that Danger Zone kicks ass?
I mean, of course I do. I love that song. You heathen. Who doesn't?
Have you seen Top Gun?
No, maybe. If I did, I don't remember it.
Oh, interesting. Anyway.
Damn it, my camera fell over. This is all your fault.
Okay. We were staring at the roof there for a second. Jordan, this is the Spur of the Moment podcast. We always go off the rails here. There are no rails. Rails are an illusion. Yes, I had to work this morning, folks, so I'm very tired. It puts me in a goofy mood. I'm sorry.
Rails present the illusion of control, and there is no control.
I was up at 3 a.m. this morning, and Monster Energy drink, and it makes you giddy. What's your next rapid fire, Jordan?
Chaos. And I just love chaos.
George loves chaos.
My next rapid fire is about a immigrant who comes to America to kind of learn how to bring betterness to his country. My movie is Borat 1, like the first Borat movie.
See, it's so funny because it's funny that you're like, we had this discussion already, but I would say that movie is just to call that movie an immigrant story is laughably generous. But all right, I'll go with it. But I do think it definitely is representative of America in a sense that movie is post 9/11. It's just like it's the mid 2000s. We were so the one thing I've noticed about comedy during the mid 2000s is it was very angry. It was just about making a point and like it's the granddaddy of all of the issues we have today. Like it's just a lot of like reactionary comedy. That's what this movie is, in my opinion. It's just it represents America at arguably their worst. Maybe I don't know. You watched. Maybe you would disagree.
I definitely think there are parts in it that show it in a potentially negative light. Is how I can diplomatically answer that statement.
I personally think the second one's a better movie. But that's just my opinion.
I would tend to agree with that, but I also just do think it's impressive from a Sacha Baron Cohen standpoint how he can constantly in all of these movies dress up as a character, go out into public, and people still don't know it's him. That to me
It's
shows
getting
a level of acting.
it's getting harder. Like the second Borat, it was harder. He was getting spotted and recognized, but for that one, no one really knew who he was. That was the one that made him famous in America. Like Ali G had come here and was kind of done okay, but Borat exploded in a way that, yeah, I mean everyone. I mean, I heard someone say this, but it's the truth. Everyone had a Borat. Everyone had a Borat impression. Even people. I had a Borat impression, and I hadn't seen the movie.
Is
I watched it for the first time recently.
I had one, and
It's
what's
very
funny about that
nice.
movie is
Everyone's got one.
I have a distinct memory of when I went up to Whistler with my high school. They put it on the
Yeah,
Greyhound bus
very
TVs.
strange. I remember that. I remember that. Very strangely, yeah. The school let you guys watch this movie.
Yeah, like I don't really like. I just
Really.
having just rewatched it recently, I'm like, wow, that's someone must have gotten in trouble for that, or the
I
bus company
have to assume.
or the bus company overruled the school or something.
But how old were you?
But
Because technically speaking, that was I
uh,
think that was because we have a different ratings board. Fun Canadian fact for American audience: we have a different ratings board
how
than
old
you
would I
do, and it didn't really come into. I don't really remember it coming into effect until I was like a teenager.
I'm not sure.
So we don't have an R rating like they do in the States. Our ratings board goes
Oh
G,
yeah,
PG, 14A, and then 18A. Whereas in the States it goes
yeah.
PG, PG 13, and then R rated. And when it's R rated, when you're 17 and older can watch. For us, 14. So a lot of R rated movies in the States come here and become 14A. And that one was 14A.
So a fun story that I
For
remember is
some reason.
I remember one time when I basically I had been waiting for a ride after work, and I ended up watching Tropical Thunder the one night, and then
Tropic
like
Thunder.
Tropic Thunder, sorry,
Tropical
and then
Thunder.
like literally the next day they changed the rating, and I couldn't see it without like
Yeah.
having
I remember that. Yeah, it was. I'm the one who let you
ID.
watch it. Yeah, it was 14A when I let you watch it, and then the next day it became 18A. And in Canada anyway, I can't speak to America, but it's a big enough deal that if they bust you with someone in a movie that's 18A and they're not 18 without a parent there, um, you could lose your license to show 18A rated movies, and that's like a huge chunk of your income stream. So they like take it seriously. I had a coworker who nearly got fired for it once. Like they take it really seriously.
But yeah, so that was one of mine. A great
Yeah.
immigrant story. Him going across the country
The American
to
dream.
to to marry Pamela Anderson, whether she wanted to or not.
That's such a
It
bad.
was
I didn't think the first one was very good. That's all I know. I watched it after I watched the second one
I
first, and I really quite liked the second one.
I'm not speaking to the quality of these movies, Justin. I'm simply saying it's an immigrant story.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
Not even
definitely.
not even an immigrant story because he's technically not immigrating here. He's just a tourist.
Yeah. It definitely. I don't know. Arguably, arguably it reflects a part of American society, which is an
I think
uncomfortable part.
technically
That's
he's
all I would
technically
say.
a foreign press member is I think
Yeah.
technically what he is,
They all
but
think he's press. Like that's why
yeah.
he gets these interviews, is because they all think he's press.
So he is. He's Kazakhstan press. What are you
No,
talking about?
yeah.
That the real Borat, who is definitely a real person.
Well, a lot of these interviews, that's how he got them. Is like he presented himself as a reporter from Kazakhstan, so they believed that he was a real reporter until like they got into it. And they a lot of them kind of discover it's farce, but a lot of them like think he's legit, and that's kind of how he operated. Not so much anymore because again, that's why the second one gets like double layered. It's Borat in disguise. So it's like Borat in character as someone else because that's how he has to do it narratively now because he can't just go out. Because I think in the second one, there's a scene where someone just recognizes Borat and it becomes, oh, yeah, Borat doesn't work when people know who Borat is. When you know he's a character, it doesn't work anymore.
Mm-hmm. So what's your next rapid fire there, Boyle?
There's a certain, when it comes to America, there's a certain genre of movie that I like to call "Fuck you, Soviet Union." You need to be stopped, and a sports person needs to do the stopping. And so I watched the movie Miracle, and I gotta say, despite like this is where I'm like, yeah, we're kind of being like we're being like satirical in our like anti-patriotic nature to a degree. But like, even though I am not American, movies like Miracle kind of make me feel patriotic for America. Like that's the kind of movie where I'm like, yeah, that's the spirit that I intended this with. Like you know, like this makes me feel like, yeah, go America. You beat those Soviet Union ice hockey, impossible to defeat ice hockey people. And yeah, I don't know if it's because like I actually know this sport, but yeah, I really enjoy this movie. Like it was Russell, or it's Kurt Russell. He's the coach. He's really good. Um, and yeah, it's just really fun. It's really like inspirational. It's one of those stories where you know it even though you don't know it. It's about the 1976, I think, Russian America Olympic hockey team.
I see.
No,
I see.
That's sound familiar. You remember that episode of American
I
Dad?
I don't do sports.
It's a thing. It's a thing you know.
I don't know. I don't know if you've seen me recently, but that's not really in my wheelhouse.
It's a thing that
I do movies.
It's a thing that you know from a cultural standpoint, though, because you've seen it in other things. So you remember the episode of American Dad where it's about who is Steve's hero. He has to write "Who is my hero" essay, and Stan's hero is the hockey team. And it turns out that Roger was on the hockey team, and they're trying to return the medal to the Olympic Committee.
And he's a cheater. He's a cheater.
He reveals that he used steroids. Yeah, that's the team.
Yeah. So he's like the Rocky of hockey guys.
Of hockey, yeah, kind of, yeah, a little bit. But yeah, no, it's honestly, it was very good. It's very good, yeah. And like I said, it's one of those like, I think I discovered watching it. I think that hockey is one of the most physically demanding sports in existence. Ooh, maybe that's a controversial thing to say, but because like, yeah, football, you got to run up and down the field to carry a ball, and yeah, you get tackled and shit, and like basketball, you run up and down a court, but like hockey, you got to do all that shit on ice skates, and like nobody is good at ice skating the first time. I don't think anybody is good at ice skating the first time. I think everybody falls.
Now I see your hockey, and I understand your point, and I raise you a UFC fight.
Sure, but in terms of like, I did think about that, and boxing, getting hit in the face hurts, but there's a lot in terms of like just athleticism, I guess. Maybe the most athletically demanding sport then, because you have to do all the like.
Now I see your hockey and your skating, and if you want to talk athleticism, I raise you wrestling.
I mean, I see your point, but I don't know. It just when I was watching this movie, I was like, yeah, there's so much involved in hockey that you have to do, and you're also on ice skates.
I guess my point is that you're kind of comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah, but again, there's I guess like
they're all difficult for their own reason, except for golf, because I think we can agree that's not a real sport.
Would you prefer that hockey is the most physically demanding of the team sports?
Yes.
All right.
I would.
All right.
That's an important qualifier.
Right, but it definitely. Oh, I guess, or maybe the question of the episode is: did it make you go America? Fuck yeah.
For both of mine.
Yeah, for the previous two we did.
For America Pie, yes. Borat, no.
No. What did I do? I said I did Top Gun, yes, very much so, and because they defeat the Russians, I think they never specify. I think they just say the enemy, and you're supposed to be like it's the Russians. And then for Miracle, yes, obviously yes. And that's my final rapid fire. I don't know if you have any more rapid fires.
I do. I have two more, but one of them is just Jaws, and that's not so much a patriotic thing. That's just I want to rant about sharks.
It just takes place on the 4th of July.
We're gonna get to that, but we'll start with Rocky 4, which
Adrian's
that's
Revenge.
patriotic as fuck. That's
Absolutely, that's the movie where Rocky defeats
everything.
communism.
Soviet Union, yeah.
He beats communism. It's
And
what I said.
and I mean, that's an example of everything that you said. I'm not American, but boy, that sure makes me go like,
Yeah.
oh
Oh,
fuck
absolutely.
yeah.
It absolutely makes me feel patriotic as fuck, and I'm not American. Yeah, man. Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed in his little American boxers and his hat, doing his little entrance. It's like, yeah, that is the most one of the. No, that's not true. I think I saw the most American thing I'll ever see this week, but it is certainly one of the most American things I've ever seen in my life.
Drago!
I don't. It's so hard. I can't. Like, it's hard. I want to say it's my favorite Rocky movie, but I just love Rocky 3 so much. Like, Rocky 3 is probably just because I love Mr. T and he's so absurd in that movie. And he's a great villain, but Ivan Drago, just no one topped Ivan Drago. He was just a behemoth monster of a man. And just the fact that he, like, an MIT genius, and he was known as being this, like, monosyllabic character for, like, decades of his life is just an irony I will always love. That movie is so much fun.
I enjoy it. It's dumb and it's fun, and
the
it's
absurd
you know,
fucking training montage of Rocky, like in the mountains, like go fast, higher. Oh, so good.
The Russian mountains.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
just a really satisfying fight. Really good.
Oh yeah, I mean, except for the fact that Rocky's a terrible fighter.
No, Jared, his strategy is just
Rock, you gotta put your arms up and try to block the move.
I'm just gonna take a. He's gonna let him hit him in the face until he gets tired.
I just got hit me 17 more times. Why do you think I talk like this, Adrian?
It's really funny because it's a really fun. I can't remember if it's. I think it was just for GameCube. I don't think we played it for PlayStation. I'm pretty sure we just played it for GameCube. But there's a Rocky fighting game, Rocky boxing game that's genuinely very fun. And if you play as Rocky, you could just like he just takes punches to the face, and the best way to win is to just relentlessly punch people in the stomach. It's just the best way to win fights. Just tank damage. It's very funny. I love the Rocky.
But yeah,
movies.
no, I love Rocky. So that's Rocky 4.
It's what makes the fact that Creed 3 was bad. Not bad, just not the best one. Just all the more disappointing. But it's funny you asked me a question of you saw the perspective of this from like Ivan Drago's perspective of here he is, some big hot shot champion who's won all of his fights, and then he loses. What is the movie from his perspective? And that's what Creed 2 is about. Creed 2 is like, yeah, what happens to the big bad guy who was the champion? What happens to him after he loses? Turns out he goes back to Russia and is a real big loser. And his life just completely collapses.
Technically, he wasn't the champion. Rocky was the champion. He was just undefeated in Russia.
Yes, but you get my point. Like he's in Russia, he's a champion, and he goes back and he loses to the American. What happens to him? Yeah, it turns out he's a big loser. That movie's quite good as a result. The Creed 2 is quite good. I quite like Creed 2. You should watch Creed 2. They're both good.
I mean, we got to find a reason for me to watch it then.
Yeah, fair enough. And then you want to rant quickly about Jaws?
I want to rant quickly about Jaws because it's a movie that takes place on the July 4th. There we go. That's out of the way. That's why it's connected to this.
That's the connection.
Now I need to talk about the fact that they have slandered sharks for years and given them the worst reputation and made people genuinely afraid of them, of these sweet, gentle creatures that are largely like water dogs.
Yeah.
And don't really hurt humans. And this movie perpetuated a stereotype and instilled fear into an entire generation of people. I would say unnecessarily so.
I'm pretty sure
that's my rant. It's a fine movie.
I'm pretty sure, and this is another one of those correct me if I'm wrong in the comments kind of moments, but I'm pretty sure that after that movie came out, it did such harm to the reputation of the shark that numbers of sharks like dipped to near extinction levels in certain species as a result. I think in great whites in particular. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that I've seen videos talk about it. Because yeah, it did it very much. It made people scared to go in the water. And it's like, yeah, sharks don't go out of their way to attack humans. They just don't.
No.
They don't hunt humans. Not only because we're awful, but because we taste bad. So you typically like it's usually like an they don't strike out of nowhere. It's usually like an investigatory bite, and then they let go, and then they stop attacking. Or like they come in and they're curious, and you trigger their instincts. Like there's a lot of really great shark expert videos where like they like it's like a tiger shark, one of the most notoriously aggressive sharks, and it like swims at them, and she just kind of like pushes it away. Just like nope.
Or like if you're on an air mattress and they think you're a seal, they might go like take a bite, but then pretty much as soon as they taste that you're not seal, they let go because they're like, ew,
Pretty much,
tastes bad. You're like the veggie of the sea.
Also,
nobody
like,
wants to eat you.
Also, like not every shark is like obviously there's like nurse sharks which like love humans, so or lemon sharks which love humans. Like not every shark is a bad shark, and the good sharks were quote unquote bad shark, and the good sharks were getting hurt as a result of it. Yeah. To my knowledge, this movie did real harm to the shark population,
and it bothers me.
And it's an
but
okay
that's my
movie.
Rant. It's an okay movie, but that's Jaws.
That's Jaws.
It's very tangentially related to our topic.
Is that it for rapid fire, Jordan? I think that's it for rapid
fire.
That's
all for rapid fire for me.
Jordan, I think it's time for full report. Jordan, time to pull the full report song.
Da 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 da.
Do we not have a full report song?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We'll work on it. We're workshopping. Anyway, Joe, what is your first?
Valena, we need you to make another song for us.
Yeah, get started on that, Valena. Valena, you successful musicians. You have the time. They're busy. They are. They're very busy. They're busy. They're busy people. They're making an album. Anyway, what's your first full report?
So, being not American, I went to Google and typed in patriotic movies, and this was one of the ones that came up. I assume because it's about what it's about. And I know I briefly, I think, talked about it as a rapid fire on here before, but now we're doing more of a deep dive into it. It's National Treasure Book of Secrets.
Book of Secrets.
Nicolas Cage's family is because of stuff that came out, is believed to have been in league of the assassination of President Lincoln, which is why it's supposed to be patriotic, because he's like, Nicolas Cage is all like, my family didn't do that, and solves it and finds Cibola, the treasure of the movie, and I like it.
I see the treasure of
and I will once again say, I need to know what's on page 47.
I will once again say, do they not say it on the show? Jordan, you're gonna have to watch. Really, honestly, you should have watched the show for this episode.
No, the show didn't show up as patriotic.
Oh, that's true.
Jordan, so I have to assume
you need to watch the show. Maybe they answer this question on the show. Do they answer this question on the show? I cannot be bothered to Google it.
I don't think they do, but it's definitely.
But it's like the stinger for the next part of the story. Is the show not the next part? What is the show? Is the show not the next part of the story?
No, from what I know, the show
like his
is
daughter
about,
or something.
No, she's like a completely unrelated person, and I know Riley shows up at some point, but Nicolas Cage was never on it, so it's not connected to his character. And if it's not connected to his character, who gives a shit? Sorry, I got upset there for a second.
Jordan, maybe they answered the question about the book on the show. That's all I'm saying.
No, they're definitely saving it for the third one.
They're never making the third one.
I mean, they might.
I mean, Nicolas Cage said they're never making the third one.
The director has talked about that, and he seems to think that like if all the other people came back, Nicolas Cage would be down.
I mean, I can't believe Nicolas Cage would say no to anything. It kind of seems like he would do anything.
I mean, I don't know him personally, so I can't make broad, generalized statements like that.
I mean,
But if I did know him, I would look him in the eyes, raise my hand to his cheek, and whisper softly to him, "Make National Treasure 3."
just she's standing there just wide-eyed with fear. He's just like, why are you holding my face, strange man? And you're just delicately whispering,
No, no,
you've just
Justin.
accosted him at the airport. He's about to get on his plane, and you're holding him there. He's got his like luggage. He's like, you're like, make National Treasure 3, and he's like, can you please leave me alone, strange man? I'll do whatever you say if you'll let go of my face.
In the beginning, I said, but if I did know him.
Oh, so you're at a party. You've been invited. He's invited you to the party. You've walked in. You've established a relationship with him. You've walked right up to him, completely unprompted. You've put your hand on his face, and you're like, "Make National Treasure 2." And he's just like, "I will do whatever."
Three.
And you correct him. You correct him. You have the nerve to correct him, and you're like, and you're like, "Make National Treasure 3," and he's like, "Please let go of my face," and you're like, "Do it," and then you're like. For some reason, I don't know why you did that.
No.
I don't know why you did that.
We don't do that.
For those of you who listen on Spotify, I just flicked my lip in a weird way.
We don't do that last thing because that's over the line.
The part that's over the line. Yeah, that's over the line.
That's over the line. We can't do that. That's not okay. Anyways, that's National Treasure Book of Secrets. Nicolas Cage, sir. Please make the third one.
Please make the third one. No, I'm just saying, I don't know him. I don't know him, but his filmography suggests that he would do it because he'll do anything. He'll just do anything. He'll make anything.
If you offer him enough money.
Yeah. He needs money. He needs more money more than self-respect.
So what's your?
He's got to pay for that. He's got to pay for that pyramid somehow.
Okay. I'm not going to address that.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Are you not going to ask how Nicolas Cage owns a pyramid? I think it's a pyramid or an island. It's either a pyramid or an island. It's a very big ostentatious thing that he owns that he spent quite a bit of money on.
I'm not going to ask because we have to keep the show on the rails that I derailed about 10 minutes ago.
It's like joking aside, it's like a legit thing. Like there's a period of his career where he did a bunch of really shitty like straight to DVD movies because he needed to pay for. Again, I'm pretty sure it was either, or was Johnny Depp the one who owned the island? It's either an island or a pyramid or like a statue or something. He's an insane person who's crazy. That's why when he was like, "I won't do National Treasure 3," I'm like, really? That's the line.
Okay.
It's just it's like, oh right, that's where you.
So anyway. Now that having all been said, that we are going to place this train firmly back on the rails and ask you what your first have seen is, Justin.
Jordan, I had to do a bunch of jokes because we're going to talk about
rails. Justin, rails.
No. It all ties in because Jordan, the reason why I had to do a bunch of jokes, we had to do a bunch of laughs because we're going to not be laughing for the next maybe 5 to 10 minutes as I talk about Saving Private Ryan, Jordan, because this movie might be one of the most upsetting movies I've ever seen. It is just harrowing. Very basically, if you haven't seen Saving Private Ryan, the title basically tells you what the movie's about. It's about a group of soldiers, a squadron of soldiers who have been tasked to do what the title suggests, save Private Ryan. The catch being that he's a parachuter who is parachuted and lost somewhere in enemy territory. And they're basically doing this on what is essentially like a publicity thing. Like basically his two brothers both have died in action. And for the good press, the government is like, oh, we need to save this kid to make a show of looking like we care about our soldiers, basically. And this one of the most upsetting scenes, in my opinion, in this movie is there's just this scene of this entire room of endless room of just secretaries writing condolence letters to soldiers' mothers, basically in my opinion, disingenuously pretending like they care. Being like, I'm so sorry that your son has died. They died in service of a greater goal. I know that there's no way that I could possibly. And it's just so. assembly line. Like it looks like an assembly line of just like fake condolence. It's really quite upsetting. But yeah, the first like 27-ish minutes of this movie is just one long, for lack of a better word, action sequence of them of D-Day, basically, what I believe is D-Day. And it's just 27 minutes of carnage, of just like things I can't describe on YouTube, but just like guys like physically being
War.
physically ill, huh?
War. What you're describing
yeah.
is war.
Like guys, like the first like minute or so of the movie is just the guys quietly in the boat, and that's the thing that's really effective about this movie is the scenes go on for like a really long time. So like the opening scene is just this really long, quiet scene of these soldiers in a boat, all kind of mentally preparing to go do this thing. Just like half of them sitting there scared, half of them just like vomiting their guts out, like sheer terror. And there's so many scenes of like prolonged death. And what I found to be interesting about it.
It sounds very, very unpleasant.
Oh yeah, it kind of was. It kind of was. And like what I liked about it is I like how Steven Spielberg, he doesn't present, in my opinion, this is as always just my opinion. I don't feel he presented America as the good guys, just kind of guys. Just guys there doing a job who are ultimately right, because spoiler alert, they all die in the end. Like they all get like just brutally killed. And like some of the more upsetting moments are just like them being like, oh, I need this guy to go do this job for me, and then being like, oh, that guy died last week. Oh shit, he was really good at that. Who's a suitable backup? And just like the way they have to compartmentalize, just like that was their friend they just lost. Like it does a really good job of like building up these characters in a way that, yeah, when some of them, when they go, like there's a scene at the end where do you remember you remember Friends?
The show?
Yes, remember the show Friends?
Yes, I do.
You know the series of episodes where Joey moves out and Chandler has like a crazy roommate?
Yes. Yes, I do.
He's in this movie. There's a bunch of before they were famous actors, like Vin Diesel's in it. It's Matt Damon's first movie. Yeah, you pointed out to me earlier this week that Tom Hanks is obviously in it. But the crazy roommate, he's in it, and he's like one of the last to like die. But there's a scene where like he's he's in a physical altercation with a German, and like it goes on for a really long time, and then there's a moment where the German finally gets him on his back, and he's got a knife, and he's like slowly like driving it into him, and the guy's like essentially begging him like, no, you don't have to do this, we can stop right now, you don't have to do this, and then the German's like shh, as he him. I'm doing my best, YouTube. This movie won Oscars.
Monetized.
Yeah. This movie won Oscars, okay? I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. Anyway, and it goes on for a really long time, and it's really upsetting. And like the gore and it's not fun. Like it's not fun gore. It's always upsetting, and properly so. And I think I find interesting with American war movies is how, like, certainly in Hollywood and in the media, it never necessarily presents it, unless it's satirical, and we'll talk about that, or from a parody standpoint, we're going to talk about that. It's never presented as a good thing. Like this movie, again, the Americans aren't the good guys. They shoot way too many unarmed German soldiers who are surrendering, for them, in my opinion, to be the good guys. But you have to pull back and be like, what they were doing was ultimately, good is relative, right?
Yeah.
Like a thing I appreciate about American war movies is a lot of them kind of come to the conclusion of, we did bad shit in wars. We did bad shit. We weren't necessarily always the good guys. And I respect that level of, I guess, self-awareness and self-reflection. And it makes this movie interesting. Like, yeah, again, upsetting, so upsetting. To like die for what is essentially, like a photo op, basically. And then they make that point. They show up, and Matt Damon the Private Ryan, played by Matt Damon, doesn't even want to be rescued anyway. He's like, no, I want to stay here with my squad and do my duty. And half the guys on the squad die helping him like complete his mission before he'll leave. It's again just really harrowing, upsetting. Like just the detachment is just really oddly, it's oddly upsetting. And the
Sounds
one,
heavy.
the one character who starts off like really sweet and innocent, as the like at one point he has a moral. The American soldiers are like, oh, they're extrajudicially executing soldiers, and this one guy has problems with it. And so they end up letting a German guy get away because they're like, we're not just gonna like execute him unarmed guy. They let him get away. Long story short, he kills one of his soldiers, one of his comrades later on, and so he has a bunch of unarmed soldiers like cornered, and so as a result, he now finishes what he didn't finish earlier, kills the guy, and now he's hardened. And it's like, yeah, even like the nice guys don't stay nice. Like it's you always compromise yourself ethically, and at least again that's how, in my opinion, this movie presents it. I'd be interested to know, maybe an American would have an alternate perspective on that. But I appreciated that they were like, what we have to do in this is necessary, but how we did it maybe wasn't great. I appreciate that level of humility. Like I think that makes this movie, in my opinion, interesting. I think, spoiler alert for future episodes, I'm not sure if it's a movie or a show, but I've heard like the best World War II movie is Band of Brothers. So I think, spoiler alert, I may do Band of Brothers for a future episode. But yeah, it was very interesting. It was a very good movie. When I was watching this, I'm like, this won Oscars, right? I was like, yeah, it did. Yeah, this was well received. One of the more interesting things, just to wrap up Saving Private Ryan, we'll get back to the jokey jokes. The most interesting thing about it to me was how World War II veterans were like, gave them PTSD attacks because it was so authentic and real. And I'm like, that's so interesting to me because, I will say it is one of the most violent movies I've ever seen, but it is 20 years out. 20 more than 20 years out. It was like 1996, I think. So like, there's a point where a character gets
28 years.
28 years. Yeah, he gets stabbed in the stomach and his insides are outside, and it looks like sausages. It looks so. It's like, yeah. I'm like, I appreciate like in 19. I think I'm pretty sure it was 1996 whenever this came out in the 90s. That probably looked really real back then. So like, I'm not. That's me casting my 2024 judgment onto a movie. But it's again very effective movie and really good. One of those like I would full bore recommend it. Like if you're looking to do like a Memorial Day, Remembrance Day kind of dealio. I don't know if it's a super like it is patriotic in a sense because it's like, America, World War II, but I not in the fun hot dog 4th of July weekend way. I think more in the Memorial Day kind of way. But anyway, yeah, that was Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Real quick, unrelated topic. This is going to be a little inside baseball. You know how we've tried to sync up to sing the Canadian national anthem and it failed. I learned that's because there's a 1 second delay between us.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You've actually timed that?
No, I was watching Game Grumps, and it's from I was watching an episode from back during COVID, when they were doing it over Discord, and they're playing Mario Party, and there's just moments where they lose each other, and there's a delay. So it sounds like the problems we have with Discord are just problems with Discord.
Interesting.
But like it's free, so like you get what you pay for. Anyway, sir, what's your next one? I thought that was interesting.
My second have seen is a movie which, before I say what it is, Justin, do you like Channing Tatum?
It's funny you should say that. Because
I'm not looking for an in-depth answer here. This is a bit. It's a yes or no question.
Yes, I do like Channing Tatum. Yeah, I do like Channing Tatum.
Do you like Jamie Foxx?
I could say I probably like him and stuff. Yeah,
And do you like Maggie Gyllenhaal?
I'm rather indifferent towards her. I gotta be honest.
And are you a fan of terrorists losing the day?
I mean, I could. Let me answer your question with another question, Jordan.
No, that's not how this goes.
Jordan, is this movie sure sounding an awful lot like Die Hard? Is this movie just kind of Die Hard?
It's absolutely a Die Hard. It's a movie called White House Down.
Because it just sort of sounds like you're leading up to the fact that this movie's a Die Hard.
I mean, I enjoy a good Die Hard. Do you not enjoy a good Die Hard?
Because from what I recall of the, I've never seen that movie, but from what I recall, isn't it just, or is that the Gerard Butler one? Because there's a Gerard Butler one, right? Isn't this movie just Die Hard in the White House?
I mean, it is. It is just Die Hard in the White House.
Like, doesn't Channing Tatum literally wind up wearing a white tank top like John McClane at one point?
I mean, it's on the poster, Justin.
Yeah,
it's on the poster, and he's with Jamie Foxx. He's trying to save the president. He's trying to save his daughter. There's terrorists. It's definitely just a Die Hard, but that works for me.
I do. It's weird. I do like a Die, but like I need my Die Hards to be more. This is going to be ironic considering I just did what felt like 10 to 15 minutes on Saving Private Ryan and how upsetting that movie was. But I like my Die Hards to be violent. Like the more violent they can be, the better.
Also, apparently James Woods is in it.
Is he actually? That's funny. Jamie Foxx is the president, right? That's the whole thing with it.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is the president.
He's the president, right? Because I know that there's two versions of this. There's this version, and then there's one with Gerard Butler, where I can't remember who's the president in it. And it's literally the exact same movie, but except the Gerard Butler one made more money, so they made like 4 of them. And then there was one that was in London. It was called London Has Fallen.
I don't know. All I know is that this one was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a Die Hard.
Was it a cool R-rated Die Hard, or was it a lame PG-13 Die Hard?
I don't know where that would show on Wikipedia.
Because to me, a way better Die Hard is Violent Night, because that movie is very violent and it's very fun. That's a way better Die Hard.
Yeah, I don't know how you would
I'm more meant, is it bloody and violent and graphic?
I mean, as violent and bloody and graphic as Die Hard is.
Then probably not. That sounds like it's probably a PG-13. Oh, I just realized. Whatever. I realized I missed. I missed it.
But I mean, okay. I'm not American, but it makes me feel patriotic knowing that they thwarted the terrorist people, saved the president, and he gets to be the president's like special bodyguard now.
Does he do like an epic speech? Their big epic speech?
I have to be honest, one isn't popping to mind, but I'm sure that there is something of the sort.
That's fair enough.
Jordan, this movie is pretty paint by numbers.
Jordan, I realized. Wait, is that all you got? You got more?
That's really all. It's do you like Die Hard, Justin?
I do enjoy Die Hard.
Then you'll probably enjoy this movie.
I do enjoy when something does a Die Hard. I realized I forgot to wrap it first. I'm just gonna shove it in here real quick. How very American of me. Kidding. It was a joke.
Man.
It was a joke.
Whoa.
We do jokes here. We are not serious when we say these things. You have to say that now, otherwise you get canceled. I did Captain America because I had to do Captain America. And I was like, oh, should I leave out Captain America? How could you not talk about the guy who literally has the American flag on his hat?
Captain America?
When Captain America throws his mighty shield.
I almost did G.I. Joe for that same reason. I watched like half of one episode and I was just like, I just can't.
Yeah, I almost, when you were like, I watched half of one episode, I almost was like, oh, that means he's not going to watch the movies, and I have access to Paramount Plus, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll watch the first. I think I know Snake Eyes is on there, so I'm pretty sure the first one had.
No, I didn't do those movies because you said you were.
Oh, I assumed you were because you did the show, and you were gonna slam bam them with the show.
No, I did the show because you did the movies.
Oh yeah,
that's the reason. That's the reason I considered doing the show, was because I was like, okay, he's gonna do the movies. It's good synergy. He gets to talk about one. I get to talk about the thing
I didn't watch them because
from.
I thought you watched the show because you were gonna. Oh, interesting. I didn't end up watching them because I couldn't be bothered. The only fun thing about the first one, the only fun bit of trivia about the first GI Joe movie is that I can't remember where they said it, but the guy who directed it also directed The Mummy, I believe, and so it technically takes place in the same universe, and so Brendan Fraser shows up in GI Joe, and he might be a descendant of Rick O'Connell.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I think the director confirmed it, so I think it's technically true. But that's one of those I don't actually know for sure kind of facts. But anyway, Captain America. That first movie's still really fun. I think they should have let him actually punch Hitler. Oh, this is my pitch. Sorry, that's why I wanted to bring it up. This is my pitch for that Captain America game. There should be a moment in that game where you run into like Hitler's office and Hitler's there, and like it sets you up like he does like big fisticuffs, and it's like you're about to fight him, and it looks like you're gonna have like a Hitler boss fight where you fight Hitler, and then you punch him once, and he goes unconscious immediately. He just dies instantly.
Do it.
They should do it. Marvel.
Do it.
People making that game, do it.
Do it.
But yeah, I thought that would be fun. Anyway, I guess I should really quickly. That was Captain America. Real quick. My second I had seen was the movie that is named after the thing that is I lost it. Independence Day. We're gonna talk about Independence Day.
How independent of you.
I didn't think it was very good. Here's what I'll say: the aliens aren't nonsense in that they don't like. I hate to be like, if aliens were real, but like, what the so you haven't seen Independence Day, right?
No, I haven't.
It's okay. I can do this really quick. It's 2.5 hours long. It's a movie about an alien invasion. Boom, I did it. There's like 1,000 characters, and they're all played by famous people. And so, like, for the first 30 minutes, the character isn't in it, and then out of nowhere, Will Smith is in this movie now. Wait, what? Will Smith? Okay, all right. And then it's like, oh, you're watching it for 10, and then there's Jeff Goldblum. He's also in this movie now. All right, I guess. Okay. And like they don't seem related until about halfway through the movie, where it's revealed that most of them all know each other. And yeah. And Bill Paxton is the president, and he does a big epic speech about how 4th of July is about saving the planet from aliens now. But the aliens plan, it's one of those things where when you stop and you think these beings are hyper intelligent enough to cross galaxies, right? They have developed intergalactic travel. They've come to our planet, and Will Smith says it in the movie too. He's like, "Why would they travel 9 billion light years just to come here and kill us?" Exactly. Like, why would they do that? It doesn't make any sense.
Because they're petty.
Because it's our human understanding of aliens. Like, oh, that's what we would do. Therefore, that's what. But no, you would be evolved beyond the point of doing that. And so then halfway.
No, not necessarily. They could be conquerors.
Yeah, but like, you wouldn't need to. That's just it, right? You wouldn't need to, and if you did, you would go to uninhabited planets and set up infrastructure there. You would be involved past that. You would theoretically be evolved past the need for warfare. That's the whole thing.
It depends on the alien. Depends on the species. I mean,
midway through the movie, they're like, "Oh, they've come here for our resources," and it's like, okay, why? Why would you go to a planet that's inhabited then if it's just about resources? Surely, if there are enough inhabitable planets out there, surely there's enough planets out there with resources that are not inhabited, right? That's what you kind of concede by being like there's other inhabitable planets out there. And it's just kind of like the reaction to aliens in this movie, I think, is maybe one of the more realistic in that it's the only one of these movies where a government feels competent. And also there was kind of a weird moment, like the one of the criticisms of the president in this movie, you're going to find this funny, is that he's too young. Can you imagine such a thing, Jordan? Can you imagine having an American president where the criticism is that he's too young?
I mean, didn't that happen to Obama? Wasn't he like notoriously young for a
I
president?
think you might be right. Yeah, I just thought that was fun. And so when I was watching this movie, a big thing I was thinking is like, can you imagine if Joe Biden were the president during Independence Day? I think the aliens would have won. If Joe Biden were president during Independence Day, I think the aliens would have won. I mean,
I'm sorry, Justin, but on this very special American episode, I can neither confirm nor deny what my affiliations are or my opinions politically are, because I'm not willing to open that can of worms.
Fair enough,
I plead the fifth.
But I will follow this up with, and Jordan, you can simply say yes or no. We can both agree. Okay, there's a plot point in this movie where they hit the alien ship with a nuclear bomb and it doesn't work. And then they're like the army dude's like, we should try again. And the president is like, no, that's a bad idea. This is all the collateral damage that could be caused by that. It's not worth the risk. We'll figure out another way. Donald Trump would have just tried another nuke, right? We can both agree on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He would have just been like,
Absolutely.
just keep nuking it. Just keep going for it. It'll eventually work.
Just keep going. We could use my special nuke. It's the best nuke ever. I just do it.
Yeah. I just thought that was funny. I was like, I just don't think either of those candidates would be qualified to handle an alien invasion.
I'm the president. I'm
sure people will disagree
do what I
with
tell
me on that.
you.
I'm sure people will disagree with me on that, but I just don't think either of them are qualified to handle an alien. I don't know, it's just me. But yeah, it's otherwise like it's like it's a Roland Emmerich movie. So like there's a lot of explosions and a lot of things blow up. And yeah, there's a bad guy and it doesn't make any sense, but who cares? It's not really that kind of movie. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Independence Day. I thought it was okay. No, I didn't. I thought it was kind of bad. I appreciated it for what it was, and I understand. Yeah, it did. It is influential in its own right.
I understand.
We're gonna talk about the sequel. Don't you worry. And yes, I disliked Top Gun enough, and I liked Independence Day enough that I was gonna do Top Gun 2, and then I changed my mind and decided to do Independence Day 2 instead. Spoiler alert for the next 10 minutes of the show. Jordan, what's your first haven't seen? What's the first one you hadn't seen, Jordan?
The first one that I hadn't seen, I had seen parts of, and I know the music from it. So I haven't seen all of it, which is why I still chose it. Because when you said America, fuck yeah, the first thing that came to my mind was Matt Damon.
I mean, I assumed
But then the second thing that came to my mind was Team America World Police.
I mean, that was, I have to assume that everyone who heard me go America fuck yeah, that was if you've seen America First World Police, that's like the first thing that pops into your head. And yes, that movie is, look, not all of it holds up great. Not all of it holds up great.
Yeah.
But it's still funny. And yeah, I know that you want to talk about a movie where I know the words to every single song. This is another one. I know all. Freedom isn't free. Yeah, I know all of them. America.
Across the button that takes a folks like you and me. And if we don't all chip in our bucko five.
Yeah, it's just a really fun. It's a really funny movie. I mean, just because it's a parody of Jerry Bruckheimer, Michael Bay movies, which like. Yeah, they very much have a gripe against, considering there's a song about why does Michael Bay get to keep on making movies because Pearl Harbor sucks.
Why does Michael Bay get to keep on making movies?
Because Pearl Harbor sucks. Just a little bit more than
Just a little bit more than I miss.
We should neither of us should quit our day jobs. That was not. We are not singers. Anyway, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I know all the words to all of the songs. Last time I watched it, I appreciated the fact that the opening musical number is a parody of Rent. I never got that before.
Interesting. I love the everywhere America goes, they leave destruction where they were, which I'm not gonna say that that's accurate.
Matt and Trey are very much a particular way post 9/11. That's all I will say. They were very angry and reflected a lot of South Park episodes and in this movie. And yeah, I mean, you have to appreciate the artistry. Like, I know a lot of the joke is that they're puppets. Like, that's the bit, is they're puppets doing ridiculous things, and it's funny. Like, just the fighting, the action sequences are super fucking funny.
I mean, I just watch it and I'm like, my God, it must have been a nightmare to make because it was with marionettes.
It was such a nightmare to make that they never made another movie.
But and then
it killed their love of making movies.
I was also just distracted the entire time because every time I heard the commander of the Team America, every time I heard him, I just heard the dude from the Seth MacFarlane show, American Dad.
American Dad.
He's Stan's dad.
Oh yeah, he totally is. Yeah. That's Darren Norris. I mean, you know him from a bunch of shit. He is.
That's just who I heard though. Every time he talked, I heard is Stan's dad.
Yeah. It's Darren Norris. Yeah. Spotswitz. I'm Spotswitz.
He's like this, and he talks very much like this. But
I mean, I was just a lot of Thunderbirds as a kid. So I get the parody, which this is a parody of.
Oh yeah, the ships are anyway.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is the original Thunderbirds was made with marionettes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I didn't know that.
It was a puppet show.
And it's also distracting because it's like, oh, that's such and such character on South Park.
Oh yeah. Obviously, yeah.
So I heard
you're gonna get that with anything with Matt and Trey though. You're like, oh, there's
City Walk.
Yeah, there's the City Walk guy. Yeah. Kim Jong Un is just City Walk guy. Yeah,
Kim Jong Il.
Kim Jong Il. Yeah, Il. He's just Kim Jong Il at that point. Yeah. True. I forgot about that.
But it's funny. It's really dated, and
it's very much got that again, anything and the era of television. It just and movies and everything. It just has a particular vibe. Like they were really bad. And look, I'm not. We're gonna remove myself from that, but they have arguably a right to be, but yeah.
I don't really have a lot more to say about it. I like the music. Matt Stone and Trey Parker's their musical ability is so good that they then later on to make a musical that was on Broadway. So
right. And I mean
they clearly have talent.
There was one movie they were supposed to make that never came to fruition, where they were going to do a parody of Godzilla movies, kaiju movies, like with suits.
Oh really?
I was disappointed that never came out. The last I heard, they were doing another musical. They were going to do one with Kendrick Lamar. Weirdly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. If that comes out, it's gonna be fun.
But that's Team America. I mean, it is a product of its time. That's really the best statement that I can give for it.
It's for sure a product of its time. But I don't see people act like that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't think something being a product of its time is a bad thing. It's just it reflects that way we get to understand. Yeah, that's how people were feeling in 2003 when that movie came out.
It's a peek into history, much in the same way that like any movies from the 30s or 40s are a peek into history.
Yeah, I just think
obviously we don't think the way that we thought back then, and that's not a bad thing. It's just the way that things were.
Exactly, and like I think with that one in particular. Yeah, it just reflects a certain period of time.
Like you have to be able to go back.
Oh, that's what I was going to
be able to go back. You have to be able to go back and watch and reflect on things like this, for example, in order to learn from the things of the past and continue to go forward.
I think one of the more interesting elements of it for me, being a person who's chronically on the internet, is just seeing the perspective, and maybe I don't know, maybe it's a perspective that wasn't true back then. I wasn't like as culturally conscious as I am now. But the notion that who gives a fuck about what celebrities think? Like, who cares?
Yeah, we sort of seem to have stepped away from that idea.
Yeah, right. It's like people are like demanding that celebrities have an opinion on things, and I'm like, who cares? Who cares what certain celebrity thinks about? Who cares? Like, who cares what they think?
It's because for a while now, and I have an opinion on when this crossed the line, but I'm not going to say it. But for a while now, we've more and more had this idea of sycophantic obsessiveness when it comes to celebrities.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And again, I think there's a specific turning point, but I'm not going to say what.
Because I'm aware of previous decades, like Charlie Chaplin, for example, in his day was crazy famous. So like I think it's sort of our obsession with celebrity like ebbs and flows, and I think we're at a kind of a bubble breaking point where people are realizing that we're kind of coming to that realization again of like, no, who cares what Taylor Swift has to say about which person she votes for? Like, who cares?
I mean,
Like,
for me, it's not even so
who
much.
cares
For
if
me,
she
it's not
votes for
even
Joe
just
Biden? Who cares?
for
Swifties, don't
me.
come at
It's
me.
not even for me. It's not even just so much who cares. It's more just also it's not her responsibility to have that on her shoulders.
Yeah.
She shouldn't need to have all this like, oh, such and such problem is going on in such and such part of the world. What's your opinion? How are you going to fix the problem that you didn't start,
But
have no control over, and should have no responsibility for?
like to tie it in back into Team America to be like, yeah, we shall read the headlines and say that these are our opinions, and it's like, yeah, like you're right. Like who cares? Like I understand. I do understand the criticism, and I've been one to criticize him for this of like creating a generation of like cynical assholes. But like that's one of the points I kind of tend to agree on is like, especially with like influencer micro celebrity culture of like, oh, this person gets canceled because they had the wrong opinion because allyship. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't say that. No, I'm not gonna say that. That's too controversial. But um, it's just like they demand that they have an opinion on a thing and then get upset when they do. Like that, I find that happens more often than not.
It's
nowadays.
a no-win. It's a no-win scenario.
Yeah.
That's
Whereas
for
like
sure.
yeah, back in 2003, you used to make fun of like Sean Penn for being like, and I went to Iraq, like he does in this movie. I went to Afghanistan. And we used to mock celebrity for that. So like I again I don't know. I'm of the opinion like, yeah, who cares what, like, not that we're celebrities, but who cares what some person on the internet says? Like, have your own opinion. Formulate your own opinion on things. That's Team America.
I mean, I don't think that there's anything. I don't think that there's anything wrong with a quote unquote celebrity or whatever, a person having an opinion, but it shouldn't be a thing that they're obligated to say.
Exactly.
And if they do say it, if they do choose to say it, then we should all be capable of going like, okay, that's their opinion. I don't agree with that, but
Yeah.
that's cool that that's their opinion.
If you're on the fence about who you should vote for, and Taylor Swift is the thing that convinces you, you maybe reevaluate. It's just what I'm saying. It's just what I'm saying. It's what I would say. That's what I would say. Maybe reevaluate.
Or I mean, maybe be like, maybe I mean, I would say you look at that situation, and go like, okay, I think that I should vote for this person for reason 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the 10th reason. Oh, and also the person, the celebrity that I love and that I really really respect, also agrees with me. Okay, that pushes me over the edge.
See,
Okay, that doesn't bother me.
See, this is where I don't know. Maybe we'll move on. But this is where I would say I disagree. I don't think that the celebrity should be the thing that pushes you over the edge. But that's just my opinion. Sure. Was there anything else?
I'm just saying if it's one of 10 reasons, then it's not bad that it could be your 10th reason
never
why.
be a reason. Sorry. I think this is gonna be an agree to disagree thing.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree.
No, what's some celebrity's opinion of who you should vote? No, that should never. Anyway.
So those in the comments section, we'll start a vote here. Team celebrity versus team not celebrity. Duke it out. Draw blood and tell us who wins.
That is true.
Don't actually do that.
Give us engagement.
This is a joke. Don't actually do that. We don't want anybody to.
If you want to argue a bunch in our comments and give us engagement, I'm not against that. When people argue with each other, it's great engagement. I would love the engagement. Anyway.
Yeah.
But no trolls.
That you can do. That will allow. That's Team America World Police, Justin. Team America. fuck yeah!
Yeah, Jordan, is that movie patriotic? Okay, no, I want to end our discussion of Team America on one thing. One of the funniest things about Team America was the concert, where they played it, and they had everyone cheering "America, fuck yeah," and like completely missed the point of that song. Which, granted, I give you, is coming from the guys who wrote it. So, but like the whole point of that song is it's super anti-patriotic. Like that's the joke. Like it's just a dumb American taking credit for inventing literally everything and like being blindly patriotic. Like you at a concert like cheering for it is kind of missing the whole point of the song, and it made me laugh because it just, yeah, I don't know, it just felt so American.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not American, so I cannot speak to what goes through an American's head when they see blue and white stripes, blue, white, and
Stars.
red stripes, and stars, and the blue and the red, and
That's
all
true.
the colors that are on their flag.
Yeah, maybe you find Team America World Police to be an unbelievably patriotic movie. I think it's satire of patriotism, but that's just my opinion. That's what
I
makes
mean,
it funny.
I would agree with that.
That's what makes
but,
it funny to me. But maybe you find it funny for other reasons. I don't know.
So
anyway,
what's your
so speaking of Independence Day, Jordan,
thingamajigger?
we're at Independence Day 2, and I don't have a ton really to say about. I guess I do. So Independence 2, the one thing I liked about Independence 2 is I really like the setup for this movie. So the setup is now, they stopped an alien invasion, and they have developed into a utopian society where there is no more world war. They have achieved world peace amongst the nations because obviously once you stop an alien, why fight with each other? Obviously. And they have taken some of the aliens' technology and merged it with our own. So like you have like flying ships, but they're like flying jet ships. You've got like, yeah, it's all like Earth-based technology that has just been upgraded by the alien stuff, which is pretty cool. And
that makes sense.
They've been essentially preparing for the aliens to come back for 20 years. Like they've been training and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, you can see that it's just for me a logical place for the world to advance to, and because the first one is just like the first four, it's 2.5 hours long, which is too long. This one's a much tighter 2 hours, and the first like 30 minutes of the first one is just introducing characters and like not introducing them in a way where they're interesting so that they can just kind of die on a whim. And so this one, because they don't have to waste a ton, it's more about reintroducing characters from previous movies, so it doesn't waste a ton of time like introducing new characters, so it's much tighter.
Sorry, previous movies. I thought there was only one Independence Day.
Previous movie. So there's characters from the previous movie that come back. Yeah, so it doesn't have to waste a bunch of time introducing a ton of new characters. There's like 3 or 4 new characters. My thing with this is, once again, the aliens are dumb and confusing, and like, so at this point it's kind of evolved. So now it's no longer like a brainless disaster movie. It's now a elevated science fiction movie that doesn't really make any sense. So like the aliens, for some reason, so it's okay. So in this one, it's revealed. Go back to the first one. There's a bit where they're all psychic, like they communicate psychically. So Brent Spiner, or Data from Star Trek, is in it, and he's like a mad scientist. He gets like hijacked by an alien, and it like talks through him. And the president gets blasted by like psychic rays or something, and so like he out of nowhere in the first movie is like, yeah, that's where he's like, oh, they're here for our resources, and they're basically like locusts who they go from planet to planet, absorbing the resources and killing the locals. And it's like, so that way you don't have to feel guilty when we kill them all. They're the bad guys, hard and definitively.
Mm-hmm.
Now in this one,
so we can slaughter them and not feel bad about it.
Pretty much, yeah. And so now in the second one, the president he has horrid PTSD, and like he's still psychically connected to the aliens, and he's in like a home because he's all crazy and loopy because he still has psychic visions. And Brent Spiner's character has been in a coma for 20 years, and so now the aliens are just arbitrarily back after 20 years, and it's revealed that they want to steal, or they want our core, and it will kill all life on planet Earth. And they need the core to power their spaceships. But like again, that does if they're again hyper intelligent. Sorry, they've achieved a level of intelligence we are not capable of because they have, well, we are in this movie, but we stole the technology from them. So independently, we are not capable of coming to. This is a civilization that's far enough advanced that they've developed space travel, right? So, but yet they can't find uninhabited planets to take their core. Like, presumably there are other planets on there without life forms on there that you can take their core to power your technology, not murder, genocide an entire planet's worth of people to power your spaceships in sort of a vague motivation.
I'll give you the first one, but the second one, no, it's pure revenge. They want to genocide the people. They're pissed.
Right, but the movie never presents it as a revenge thing. Like, it never presents. You're right. You're right. It's just like the second one. The new gimmick is now there's a queen, and each of the ships is run by a queen, and they just killed the queen from the first one, and it's a brand new queen. So no, it's just another just random ship from the species that has just come back. It doesn't, again, as it's presented in the movie, as I'm understanding it, it doesn't really seem all that coordinated. It's just like, oh, it's 20 years later, and their technology is now more advanced. Oh, ours is too.
So I'm gonna I just this is just a thing. So what you're describing of this movie just sounds a lot like Ender's Game. Bug people attack Earth. Earth then gains the technology from them years later and wants to wipe them out.
I would not be surprised if that influenced this, because it is very similar. And so at the end, and in this one, they also run into a probe or whatever, an emissary from another species who is entirely artificial, and she basically shows up and is like, yeah, I have a planet of all of the refugees from the other planets that these people have just destroyed. You want to come team up and fight them? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna take the fight to them. And I kind of fell asleep at the end, and I just could not be bothered to go back and finish it. But I was like, I get the idea. And then they set up they're gonna go fight them in a third one. And I'm like, oh, bold to think you're getting a third one. It's just the aliens. It doesn't make sense for them to be as like. Apparently, these movies, the idea behind them is like, he was like, oh, how come in every alien movie aliens are all secretive? What if they showed up and they were just up front? But you're like, yeah, them being up front just doesn't make any sense, because it's once again, it's applying a human level idea of what one would do when they got to another planet. Like, no, obviously, if aliens came here, why would they come here and wipe us out? Like, there'd be no reason to, like, other than to just because they could.
Again, if we're gonna compare it, then, because this again reminds me very much of Ender's Game. If we're comparing it to Ender's Game, the reason why they attack the normal people in Ender's Game is because they are an insectoid-like people who have a queen. And so from their perspective, in the beginning of the war, before, like, when they're confused, they just see all the normal people as drones, who drones are for sacrificing.
Yeah.
Right? They think there's a queen. So that's why they would come to this planet, and just it'd be like a colony of ants attacking a colony of termites, where it's like, you have the queen. They don't think they're doing any damage to the queen, the ones that matter.
What's so confusing about these aliens is they seem to be tactical or strategic in some way, because in the first movie, the big thing is the ships just kind of arrive at all the capital cities of all the, like, countries across the world, and they just kind of chill there for like a day until, like, this countdown goes down, and that's where you get that iconic image of it blowing up the White House.
Yeah, the only one that I know from this movie.
Yeah. That's where that scene happens. So it's like, yeah, clearly they have some sort of tactical strategy, but then it's like, oh, then he's like, oh, they're just here for our resources. Well, then at that point, why wipe? If you're just here for resources, you could just come here, take the resources, wipe out. Why go through the tactical strategy of a military strategy if your plan is to just take our core anyway? Just like, you could just take the core. It doesn't make any sense. That's my thing with the aliens in these movies, is they just don't make their motivation and like what they want for what they are doesn't make any sense. Like, they're presented as being sort of like feral, but they're not really. Yeah, it's very. And also the second one, it's also confusing because one of the characters he's like fought them, and it's never explained how or why. So it's like, so I thought at the end of the first one, when they destroyed the mothership, all the aliens died. So is it like all the ships that were from the mothership crashed and they remained alive? I know you don't have the answer to these questions. I'm just mostly asking myself, but it just doesn't make any sense, and it's underexplained, and it's just not a very good movie. The second one was like, it was kind of fun. I did like the setup, but it just was like, it's just I've seen better science fiction. Yeah, you said Ender's Game. I'm like, yeah, I've seen better versions of this, and it's just it's really the best way. It's not very good. Anyway, that was it. That was Independence Day. That was both Independence Days. Should I have watched Top Gun 2? That's the question.
I mean, I don't have any answers for you.
No. Maybe somebody who has seen Top Gun 2 can tell me. Should I have watched Top Gun 2?
But my last have seen, because I assume you're done.
I am done.
My last have seen. So when I think America and things that make you feel proud to be an American, I can't help but think of ye old great American pastime, the baseball. And so I watched a little movie called The Sandlot, which has baseball in it. And I think they do a nighttime game on the 4th of July, if I remember correctly.
The 4th of July is in there somehow.
It's tangentially related to
I will say The
Americanism.
Sandlot of your choices. A little unexpected. I kind of figured you were going to do Pearl Harbor because that's really specifically what Team America was making fun of. So I got to say,
yeah.
Is that the one that has Burt Reynolds in it?
No, it has James Earl Jones. Dennis Leary, Marty York, Tom Geary, Mike Vitar, Karen Ailey.
When did this movie come out?
Allen.
This is the first Sandlot, right? The original one?
This came out in 1993.
Huh. Because I swear to God, there's a movie called The Sandlot where it's like Burt Reynolds is like a coach and he's like a piece of shit guy and he teaches a bunch of like delinquent kids.
That might be the second one.
Oh, and what's the first one about?
Well, Justin.
Other than baseball, if you say baseball, I can't do anything because we're digital. But don't you give me?
There's a lot of baseball. There's a lot of baseball in there. There is a scene where they're at the public pool and the one glasses kid fakes drowning so he can slip some tongue to the older chick. But
1980 sexual assault.
No, Justin. 1962 sexual assault.
Oh yeah, so you could do that.
But it's okay.
That was a joke.
But it's okay because after they got banned from the pool, he looks back at her and she smiles at him, and you find out at the end of the movie that they ended up getting married. Oh. So it was like a sweet thing that he did.
Okay, it was adorable. He's precocious.
Yeah. So Cold Notes version. There's the main character kid moves to this town, and then over the course of the summer, he makes friends with these kids that are playing baseball at the local Sandlot. They didn't have enough players for a full team, but with him, they suddenly do. And then it's kind of just summertime fun.
So
there's the scene where they're at the pool. It's a movie
about one kid. I thought it was like an ensemble movie, like about a bunch of kids.
Well, like the other kids are there, but it's like the narrator is the one kid.
Oh, interesting. I remember this movie being about a guy. Interesting. I clearly know nothing about the Sandlot.
It's about how he makes friends with them, and then at the very end, when he's doing the final narration of what happened to each of the people, you find out that the one who's kind of his best friend ends up being like on, I don't remember what the team is, but he's on a big sports team, and the main character, the main guy, is the sports narrator, and he's narrating his game, and like they give each other the thumbs up that they do in the movie. And at one point in the movie, he borrows his stepdad's Babe Ruth signed baseball, and they knock it over. They home run it, into the neighbor's yard, and the neighbor has a dog, and they're scared of the dog, and then they end up saving the dog and letting know that the owner know that they saved the dog, and that's who James Earl Jones is. And it turns out that James Earl Jones was a famous baseball person who was on the same team as Babe Ruth, and he had a ball which was signed by like all of the members of that team, and so the kid told his stepdad that he took the ball, and he's like, "But I got you this new one," and it all works out in the end.
So that's
and
interesting.
cute.
So that episode of and there's an episode of Recess that I think it's Gus kicks the kickball into the crate into like the neighbor lady's backyard. That is clearly an homage to the Sandlot, by the sounds of it.
I'm guessing, yeah, that's that. It probably is.
Interesting.
But yeah, it has from. Hold on, let me get back down to development, because yeah, I believe if I remember correctly, it has 2 sequels. Sandlot 2, which is New Sandlot Gang. It's a sequel. And then there's the Sandlot Heading Home, which is another sequel. Starring Luke Perry as Tommy Santarelli, who gets knocked back to 1976 from 2004 and relives his childhood.
Wait, what?
And then there was
which one is that?
That's the second. That's the third movie, which is another direct-to-video sequel.
So they made 3 movies, 2 of which are direct-to-video sequels, and by the third movie, this franchise got to time travel.
That's what it looks like. And then a prequel film was announced in July 2018, and then in 2019, a TV series with the original cast was in the works for Disney Plus, but then got canceled due to the lengthy SAG-AFTRA strike.
I need to go back to that third part, which is about time travel. So the guy who's doing the time travel, is he the main character from like the first movie? Is it about him going back to the first movie?
Well,
I don't understand the connection to the first movie. And then follow-up question.
If he's the character, character that I think he is, then he is essentially. So you have your main character who's like the geeky kid that they make, like he gets to be part of the team, and then there's the heart of gold TJ Detweiler, leader of the gang.
Gotcha.
That's and he's the one who ends up becoming the famous baseball player. Gotcha. Pretty sure that's who it is.
So follow-up question: does that first movie give you any indication that time travel is the direction it's going?
Oh, absolutely not.
That is a wild twist. That's all I'm saying. It's a wild turn. Jordan, do you have anything else
really
to say
is.
about the Sandlot?
I almost kind of want to find an excuse to watch that one.
I mean, yeah, but you have to do another movie in between it. Maybe we'll do an episode.
You're right.
On
I have to do that. I have to do the Sandlot 2 before I can get to Heading Home.
That all you had to say about Sandlot?
Do I have anything else to say about it? No, I mean, yeah, it's cute. It again, it does. It is. If the question is does it like make you patriotic? Yeah, I mean, kind of. It's about your classic 1960s summertime, summertime baseball, like beer. Young. Yeah, like it very much checked all the boxes.
Yeah, I was gonna at one point. I was gonna do some King of the Hill, and that was gonna kind of be my point. Yeah, that's kind of grilling a burger or a steak on a summer's day. Yeah, that's what I think of when I think like
Texas.
Yeah, picnic and fireworks and yeah. So I get it. Yeah, it's summer. Yeah. It's the same feelings I imagine I feel when I think about Canada Day.
Yeah. So that's the Sandlot. I don't really have anything else. Do you have any other movies?
I do. I have one more. It's a movie called because Jordan, this episode got kind of heavy, I think. So I feel like we need to end it on
I mean, I can't take credit for any of that heaviness. Mine were all about baseball and nice friendly family things, and you had to go for war.
Jordan, one of yours had puppet fucking.
Because
so
Justin,
you can fuck all the way off.
Justin,
with
war, ugh, what is it good for?
But so I have to end.
What is it good for? Come on, I set you up perfectly for that.
Absolutely nothing. Say it again.
War. Okay, go on.
So my final movie, Jordan. You see, you thought yours was going to be the most silly movie. Strap in, Jordan. Strap in, because I got to tell you about America, the motion picture. Jordan, the America, the motion picture takes place in an alternate July 1776, where, after signing the Declaration of Independence, Benedict Arnold kills all of the people who signed it and blows up Independence Hall, and he goes to the Ford Theater where where George Washington and Abraham Lincoln are both watching some version of a parody of Hamilton, and they're alive at the same reason. I had to Google, was George Washington and Abraham Lincoln alive at the same time, because I felt stupid for not knowing that. They weren't, by the way.
And now all of our American friends are judging you.
Yeah, exactly. And so Benedict Arnold is incidentally a werewolf. He's a werewolf, and so after killing, you know what? I'm just gonna go through this whole thing. It's not very long, and I'm just kind of going through the Cole's Notes version of the Wikipedia, because it's just, anyway. So after killing Abraham Lincoln as a werewolf, to be clear, he meets Mary Dandridge to become Mary Washington. After they get married, they sleep together, and she immediately becomes pregnant. They recruit.
Super pregnant.
She's like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, how do you know? She's like, I just know. They recruit party animal Samuel Adams, who's part of a fraternity, and they recruit horse champion who is best friends with the talking horse, Paul Revere. And they eventually recruit Chinese female scientist, stop me when this sounds off, Thomas Edison, who is a woman, and Chinese. She's being...
Okay, so now I'm going to need you to stop there, because my American history might not be up to snuff.
This is not sounding
but
right,
I'm fairly sure there's a few points here which aren't accurate.
So Jordan, eventually...
Thomas Edison was definitely a woman. That's definitely it.
That much is clear.
Abraham Lincoln and Washington definitely didn't exist at the same time. I'm pretty sure
they were not friends. So eventually they determined, Jordan, that in order to stop Benedict Arnold, they need to shoot him with a silver bullet. So they need to steal a mass supply of silver spoons from the Titanic. And so on the Titanic, they learn that the British are bathing people in tea so that they will come over to their side. And they've discovered a British super weapon. They make the Titanic hit an iceberg, and to make it look like they were never there. Blah blah blah. Oh yes, Arnold kidnaps Martha, who is to become the future wife of King James. Washington finds out about the Gettysburg Address, a place, not a speech. Let's just see here.
I don't know if I can do this.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We're almost at the end.
I think I'm just gonna leave, and you just keep going. And I have to.
We're at the best part. So this all culminates, Jordan, in a big 300 style fight where it's Sam Adams, Paul Revere, Thomas Edison against 10,000 British soldiers. They have failed to start the revolution. And George Washington, who incidentally throughout the entire movie has had an electric guitar that he's been playing, he's been teaching himself to play, writes the song "Freebird" and summons all of these various people, including Paul Bunyan and his ox, against a British army, which includes a British AT-AT, which is effectively like a British pirate ship that's an AT-AT, Big Ben, which is also a transformer. Let me see here. Am I missing anything? Yeah, the Elizabeth Tower in the form of a transformer, London buses in the form of AT-ATs, and Arnold flying in a crown-shaped ship with a Venus flytrap, it's like soccer ball. Yeah, it's like a talking soccer ball that eats people. And then you find Paul. Oh yeah, and at one point in the movie, and kind of a sad scene. Paul Revere's horse sacrifices himself to save Paul Revere, who is a horse person. He's like, you have made human friends now. You must go be with them. And he sacrifices himself. So in the final battle, he is merged together with his horse, who has been brought back to life with nano cyber technology. And he becomes a Robocop, but he's also a centaur.
So the person that made this movie, how much acid did they drop before they started?
So Jordan, it all culminates. They finally cure Martha. They stop the British army, but it's only Benedict Arnold left, who then turns into a mega wolf, which is a super version of a werewolf. Naturally, Jordan. They shoot him with the bullet, and they manage to kill him with America's favorite pastime, which is baseball. And then the movie ends with George Washington giving a speech in front of the whole crowd, and all of the crowd arguing over various American political issues. The end. It's a very bad movie, Jordan. I don't know if you got that. It's not a good movie. It's funny because it's absolutely absurd. Like the image of a London bus AT-AT is funny because I like things that are absurd. But number one, it desperately wants to be a show. Like it's made by the same guys who made it's Lord and Miller, Phil Lord and Phil Lord, and I can't remember what Miller's first name is. But they're the guys who made Spider-Verse and
Archer.
Archer. I don't know if Lord and Miller made Archer, but they made Clone High. So it's like Clone High, where like it's George Washington, but he doesn't act anything like George Washington. But like it doesn't have.
It's a parody.
But it doesn't have the narrative explanation for why they're not. So it's too many things. So like the anachronisms are enough. Like that's enough, but it's anachronistic, and none of the characters act like who they really are in real life. So it's like if you had made it like we're like, oh, it's like Archer, but it's historically accurate, and that's George Washington, that would have worked. Or it's anachronistic, but he's just like George Washington, that would have worked. But this mishmash, it doesn't work. Like
it's like you have a pig who has a cowboy hat on, who has a little piglet on the brim of the cowboy hat, also wearing a cowboy hat. It's too much, is the point. Like it's too many things.
You took a really long way to describe a hat on a hat. You're like, it's a hat and a hat, and it's like, yes, it is. It is a hat. Yeah, it's very much.
No, but it's not even just that it's a hat and a hat. It's an absurd thing wearing a hat that's also wearing a hat. That's also absurd.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is, and it's too much. It's trying, and also like again, maybe if this is like in like a 12 episode season of like 20-minute chunks, this might have been more tolerable. But a big sticking point amongst it was like, and it feels like it was. It feels like they pitched it as a show, and when that didn't work, they sold it to Netflix as a movie. I couldn't find any evidence to prove that, but that's kind of what it feels like. But yeah, it's just it's doing too much, and the big sticking point amongst the reviews is that it's just not funny. I disagree. I think it's funny if you like absurdity, and if you like shit that's just really wild and random. And some of the action sequences, like George Washington, he's got two axes that he just slices and dices guys with, and some of the action sequences are surprisingly fun. The voice cast is wild. So you've got Channing Tatum as George Washington, Jason Mantzoukas as Sam, and he becomes Uncle Sam at the end, and he's a Jason Mantzoukas character, so he just screams. That's his whole thing. Judy Greer as Martha Washington. What's really funny, Abraham Lincoln shows up. He dies early on, but he comes back a few times as a ghost. At one point, he shows up as a Force ghost, a Jedi Force ghost. But he's voiced by Will Forte, who played Lincoln in Clone High. So technically, it's the same voice. Yeah, he reprises his role.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, and I didn't notice it until I was like reading about it while I was watching. I was like, oh, now I notice it. Yeah, and it's interesting because it's a different interpretation of the character than was on Clone High. And I thought that was really interesting. It's the only kind of interesting thing about this movie, but it's also on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, were we to get this out prior to July 4th, I'd be like, it's a great, fun, stupid Independence Day movie, and it's the perfect movie to end this episode, this American Independence Day special. America. Happy Independence Day to our American friends. We jest. Yeah. It's all satire and parody, but
and for those who aren't American, happy Wednesday.
Happy Thursday, because it was on a Thursday.
Was it on a Thursday?
It was a happy. It was a happy every regular Thursday to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It's less late than you would think. It's only we're only 2 days late, technically. Anyway, with that, let's do the assignment for next week. But before we get to the assignment for next week, we have a huge announcement we have to make that Jordan doesn't know I'm making.
We do?
Yeah, he doesn't know I'm making this announcement.
Wait, what?
The announcement is that we as a show, we finally got Netflix. We finally went back and we got Netflix. Well, Jordan got Netflix and I'm sponging it. But we got Netflix. So that means next week we're doing a Netflix episode. So it's entirely one streaming service. You get one option. You got to pick the stuff you haven't seen. You got to pick the stuff you have seen from Netflix. It's all coming off of Netflix. That's next week. And you know what? I'm going to give it to you now. We're doing a Deadpool special. That's coming. That will probably maybe be. I don't want to give it away, but that might be the season finale. That will probably be the season finale. So, for the audience out there, Jordan, both of us, for the Deadpool special, have to watch Deadpool 1 and 2.
Okay.
That's the one rule. And it will be, it's going to be a Deadpool / X-Men special. So we're going to watch X-Men stuff and Deadpool. I'm probably going to finally watch X-Men 87.
But this week is Netflix.
But next week, this coming week is going to be Netflix. We're doing a Netflix episode. Spoiler alert, I'm probably going to do Black Mirror.
Spoiler alert, I'm not going to spoil anything.
Maybe I'll do Black Mirror. But anyway, that's next week. Jordan pointed out that last week I fucked up and I didn't do the outro plugs because it was awkward. Because I completely forgot for some reason. So, if you want to follow the show, you can go to Discord. You can follow us on Discord. I try to keep our link updated, but you need to update it every 7 days. It's annoying. That's every reason to watch our most recent videos because that usually has the updated link. Jordan, where can they find you?
I do Minecraft Mondays on Twitch, on Zethgore187 on Twitch.
Last week he did like 2 streams like a maniac because that's how committed he is to Minecraft Monday.
I mean, it had to be done. I did like 4 or 5 hours of it too.
Rain or shine, that's coming. You can find me on TikTok. I have to remember to put our the show's TikTok in our. But man, we do crazy well over there. We had a video is doing quite well about going the distance. You can watch that. That's on the channel here as well. You can watch that. That's pretty fun. That was a fun movie. Do all the things.
And remember to like and subscribe.
Do all the things you have to do, like and subscribe and all that jazz. You can find me on my regular TikTok. TikTok's not loving me right now, but you can go show me love there. If you want to email the show, you can email the show at itsjustinsbusiness@gmail.com. That's also in the link. The kick 1 Weekend at Horrorland. Once again, that is in the description. Yeah, thanks guys. We'll see you next week with Netflix stuff. Have a good one, everybody.
See ya.